started up at least right now. Yo, what is going on for everybody tuning into the YouTube? Thank you so much for being here today. We already have our first Trump supporter on the line to hop into our first debate of the day with. We got Mr. Bradley up here. Brady up here.
Yes,
We've
sir.
already had a little bit of a conversation with Brady about gas and oil prices, how Trump's been for the economy, and we're kind of hopping into a conversation in the middle here. But I mean, we're going to start off with a new topic. So Brady, go ahead and take it away and tell us why you support Trump.
I appreciate it. So why I support Trump is I felt that he was better for the economy, and we have talked about this mainly, and anybody on TikTok has heard it. I don't know if you want to jump into the next subject on
Yeah, let's just
YouTube.
jump into an entirely new subject.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. Well, so sending all that money to Ukraine to a person who is poking a bear with a stick, basically asking him to jump at him because Russia said that they were going to stop bothering Ukraine, and Ukraine keeps on poking.
What
doing all
you're
that,
saying is
and-
propaganda that's completely baseless. I mean, Russia's like straight up
How
rejected
is
ceasefire
it
agreements that Ukraine has
baseless
agreed to.
when we had, I can't remember, Zelensky, we had him here in the Oval Office with Trump and with JD Vance. We had him talking to us where he decided to wear a jumpsuit instead of anything else. But that's not the point.
Actually, we could talk
understand-
about that real quick. His people are dying.
Well, yes, because of his choice to continue a war
Because
with a
of his
very,
choice.
very powerful country.
Because of his choice. So
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
If he doesn't decide to fight back, what's the other decision? To give Russia their land,
he-
let them ethnically cleanse every single Ukrainian, and forcefully expel
No.
innocent civilians, men, women, and children from their homes?
If he stops battling them, then we don't have a problem with Russia.
What happened? Wait,
And
what
guess
happened?
what?
The day that Ukraine gives up, what happens to Ukraine?
What happens to Ukraine is totally decided on whether or not Russia decides to completely invade Ukraine. That's when we would get involved.
That's not if Russia decides to in the future. Russia already decided to do that starting years ago.
Because they're trying to think of this in a way that makes sense. So the countries around Ukraine, those are all partied with Russia, I believe. Something like that.
You mean NATO?
NATO, yes.
Which is not Russia. NATO was made to prevent Russia from expanding. Go ahead.
Okay. Trying to, because all right. Trying to think.
Can I give you my thoughts on it all?
You can give me your thoughts on it all. I will listen.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly.
Imperialism, boo. Invasion,
Right.
bad. Ethnic cleansing,
Agreed.
nuh-uh. Okay.
Agreed.
Russia is invading Ukraine. Russia is ethnically cleansing Ukraine. Russia is imperialist and wants to expand. Okay? Boo, bad, nuh-uh. All bad things. So Ukraine should fight against that, defend themselves, defend their right to sovereignty and right to self-determination, right to exist. And other countries in NATO and America should support Ukraine, not only for the sake of them, but for the sake of preventing Russian expansionism, which has historically been very dangerous.
Okay. That all sounds I agree with all of that.
Ah,
Yes,
phenomenal. See, and that's why I support
We don't want them to
supporting
expand. We don't want to do that. But at the same time, we don't want Ukraine. Okay, Russia agreed to. I believe Trump has been talking to Vladimir Putin, obviously, because that's his friend. And if Trump convinces Vladimir to stop all that on Ukraine, and Ukraine continuously.
Do you think that Ukraine is the agitator?
I'm not saying they're not. I don't know the full story. So why is Russia trying to invade Ukraine is my question.
Well, because
I know they want to
because
expand,
Ukraine
but-
used to be a part of the USSR, and Russia thinks that they have a rightful claim to the land.
But okay.
You know, Brady, listen.
I'm,
Hey man, listen,
I
listen.
enjoy
I'm
I
gonna say
enjoy listening
this.
to all this, and
I'm gonna say this about you, Brady. What you hold the same beliefs as other Trump supporters that know nothing about geopolitical conflicts on the global stage or much about politics here in America. But I will say the difference between you and a lot of other Trump supporters that have tried to join is you actually seem willing to hear me out. And I
yes,
appreciate
sir,
that, Brady.
of course. And I wanted to help you believe that there's a lot more that are like me than are very against everything you say and argumentative with you. I don't want to be argumentative. I
Yeah,
want to come to an understanding.
I'll give it to I'll give it to you,
I
Brady.
appreciate
You've been
I appreciate
decent.
it.
You've been
I
decent, although
appreciate
your
it.
beliefs are insane.
I
You've been
will I
decent.
will I will learn up, and I will try to come back with you for what I will try to understand everything to 100%, and I'm going to go do some research and learn some stuff and
Hell
see if I
yeah.
can find anything against you, and then I'll be back.
You
Don't
know
you worry
what?
about it.
Do that,
I will
Brady.
be back.
Do that, Brady. Fuck yeah,
Yes, sir.
bro.
You have
Hell
a great
yeah.
day.
You as well, dude. I love hearing that because if he goes and does research with an open mind, he'll come back being in agreement. So, I man, honestly, wow. I think that guest demonstrated that our country can change and that even individuals with estranged views, like straight up bending the knee to pro Putin propaganda, like have the ability to be open minded and succumb to fact. I actually kind of like that, man. It's not often that you'll hear me saying like such good things about a guest who like straight up said that Ukraine's the agitator. Like, in fact, I actually think this is the first time I've ever spoke in a positive light of somebody with such estranged statements and beliefs. That makes me weirdly hopeful. What's going on, Mike? Do you support Trump?
Uh, I I don't. I actually am a libertarian, but I think you're hurting us more, Democrats, more than Trump right now, because Trump's an idiot. He hurts himself as it is. We need to be focused on the Senate and Congress so we can stop him from doing stupid crap.
So I just want to clarify. You think that the biggest threat to America right now is the Democrats?
No, I think the biggest threat to America right now is Congress and Senate, not Trump. Because Trump's an idiot. He's gonna.
All right, pack it up, bro. Back it up, Mike. Back it up. What's going on, Colin? Do you support Trump?
I need you to, Dean, can you please eat a pup cup on camera, please?
Cop out. If that guy was just saying that he wants Congress, like specifically Democrats, to be like more anti-Trump and like more willing to like speak up, I actually agree with him. I actually agree with him. I do agree. I think that the Democrat Party needs to be reformed and needs to be more vocal and more anti-Trump. That is true. Like I wish that the entirety of the Democrat Party was more like Cory Booker within that regard. What's going on? Ty, do you support Trump?
I'm a moderate Republican.
Oh shit, Ty, hop back in the queue. I don't know why I kicked you so fast. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Ty, get back in the queue. I thought that you were like saying no, so I just kicked. I'm sorry, Ty, get back in that queue for me, man. Yo, Mary, thank you so much for the $25 donation over on PayPal. Let's go, Mary. Everybody, please show some love to Mary down below in that chat. That is so incredibly kind of you. A huge W's to Mary down below for the $25. What's going on, kid? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right, man. What's that?
I support Trump because I think that there are certain things I disagree with the Liberal Party, such as abortion, LGBTQ, and those things. And just because of my morals, I would not vote for the candidates who are promoting those ideologies.
Okay, so first, as it relates to the LGBTQ plus community, we definitely cannot talk about T issues on the live. TikTok will ban us for it. And I want you to explain where you differentiate from liberals in the context of like members of the LGBTQ plus community outside of trans individuals and how that would make you never vote for a liberal. But just keep in mind,
Yes.
like, to censor and moderate your language to a very high degree, because TikTok, like, seriously, like, hates it when we discuss these things.
Okay, I understand. But basically, if it weren't for a few issues on the Liberal Party, I would probably be a liberal. I think what you guys are doing for the social needs are very positive.
So what is it
And
as
I
it relates to the LGBTQ plus community?
Yes. So I think that when it comes to the children especially, I do not think that they should be influenced in any way, whether that be through education, whether that be through parents raising them. I think that when we start supporting these things, it can be detrimental to society. And I don't think that we should ever be supporting things for youth. And I think as long as the liberals stay away from the youth population, I do not have a problem with people choosing what they want to do. I
Okay.
think that once it starts affecting the youth is when we have a big issue.
Okay, listen. So, like, as it relates to the youth and the LGBTQ plus community, and what like influence liberals want on the youth as it relates to the LGBTQ plus community is very simple. Like, I'll give you my position as it relates to like same gendered couples, for instance. I just want to make sure that our youth knows that some people have just a mom, some people have just a dad, some people have a mom and a dad, and some people have two moms, and some people have two dads. Just education on family structures different from what they possess, so they're more willing to be accepting and understanding of children who have alternative family structures from themselves. And this is not just exclusive to same gendered couples, this is also inclusive of single mothers and single fathers.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I just think that
So
when we
then, what
start
do you
talking,
disagree with?
yeah, so I'm just saying it seems in today's society on the left side, they seem to be promoting it as a positive thing. I think that it can be a positive thing for many people. I just think that there's those ideas should be held to themselves, just as they think that Christian values and Christian ideas should be held to ourselves. I don't agree with Indiana implementing the Ten Commandments in
Positive
school
thing.
classrooms.
Okay,
I
well,
don't.
listen. I think that a loving, healthy relationship is a very positive thing. Like between two consensual adults, a loving, healthy relationship between two consensual adults is a positive thing. And this
What do
would
you think we should
include
amend?
a man
We
and a
should amend
woman, and this would include two men, and this would include two women. So when people like to reflect upon two men being together as a positive thing, well, that's just because loving, healthy relationships between two consensual adults are good, are positive. All right. So I don't understand the issue there as it would relate to two men or two women.
I think that they should be able to be in a relationship. If I was personally president, I would never make laws to say that they couldn't be in a relationship. However, I don't think that they should, under the Constitution, unless we amend the Constitution, it would be considered a marriage. Because I think in the Constitution, we can see that a marriage is between a man and a woman, and that's what unifies the marriage in the Constitution.
Well, if gay marriage was unconstitutional, we wouldn't see federal legislation since the early 21st century to protect it on the federal level. So my dispute to you is just the simple fact that it is codified federal law, and your argument that it's unconstitutional is invalid, and you would be unable to name a single legal scholar, lawyer, or Supreme Court justice, or district court circuit, or like a circuit justice that would disagree with me and agree with you. Now, do you think that marriage should only be between a man and a woman? Or that marriage between two women is not good?
I think that two women can get married. I don't think if I would not personally count it as marriage, more so as a relationship.
Okay, so you don't think that two women can get married. What do you think marriage is?
I think marriage is a unionship between a man and a woman.
So why is it only between a man and a woman?
I just think that once we start twisting the core fundamental beliefs of what marriage is, it
No,
can lead
I'm
to
not
marriage.
asking you about twisting them. I'm asking you why that is your core fundamental belief. Why is it your core fundamental belief that marriage is only between a man and a woman?
Yeah, so I think personally it's a biblical belief, and I think that we are allowed
The
to.
Bible.
Yeah, and actually, I just recently had a discussion about this last night with me and some people at my college. It was a political thing, but should religion play a role in politics? And what we came to believe is, I actually would like to hear your opinion on this. Should religion play a role in politics?
No, no, it should not. And I could give you good reason to believe that. So we're actually going to kind of split this conversation up into two parts. So the first part of this conversation is going to be me demonstrating to you the absurdity of having religion play a role in politics. And then the second conversation that we're going to have is to demonstrate that you can be Christian and uphold a worldview in which would be inclusive of same-gendered couples, okay? But let's start off first with that first claim, that religion shouldn't play a role in politics. I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Do you agree with the New Testament when it states that all sins are equal in the eyes of God outside of blasphemy?
But you always take this out of context, so no, I do not agree.
No, so you think that some sins are worse than other sins. Are you Catholic? Are you
Yes.
Orthodox?
I am non-denominational.
You're non-denominational. I'm unaware of a single non-denominational sect in which would hold to the belief that sins hold a grave difference in the eyes of God. I find that only to be a belief rooted within certain branches of Christianity that would superimpose their own beliefs on top of the Bible. I do
No, I
not
mean
think it is a
it's
belief rooted inside of the Bible to view
it
sins
is.
as of equal different
It is.
of different wrongnesses.
So there is a verse in the Bible that says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." And this verse is just basically saying that in the eyes of God, all sins lead us to hell. That, however, does not mean that all sins are equal in punishment. We can see this in various verses throughout the Bible, that when people commit certain sins, the punishments are not the same for those sins.
Like
So,
Levitical law,
yes. So although, wait, repeat that, please.
like Mosaic Levitical law, right?
No, I'm
No.
not just talking about. No,
Do you mind if
not
I
just
ask you a
talking-
question about that?
Yeah.
Do you think that slavery's always been wrong?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But
Well,
you're changing the topic from what we're discussing. I'm trying to show you because you always mention this point, and if you look into verses when Jesus is punishing groups for certain punishments, we can see that some of the punishments are much harsher than others, and certain sins deserve harsher punishments. So yes, all sins lead us to hell. However, God does not deem that each sin in the world that we live in should be deemed the same punishment. So that's just I just wanted to clarify that.
okay. Well, honestly, I'll allow this as an opportunity for my friend Matt or Danny. I don't know if they're watching the stream to pop up and have a further in-depth conversation with you about what the specific teachings of the Bible would prescribe. I think more so like the issue that I'd like to hinge on here is how your own beliefs fall outside of that of the Bible. You just told us that you don't think that you just told us that you do think that slavery has always been wrong. However, it is the case in Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46, God states the explicit opposite, and that slavery was okay. And it is the case that during the time of Levitical law, an Israelite could enslave a non-Israelite and own them as property for the entirety of their lives and even pass them down as inherited property to their children. So how can you say that slavery has always been wrong, contradicting scripture from the Old Testament of the Bible?
Yeah, this is definitely something that I struggle with myself. I think that for me, I personally want to believe in something. I look at the world around me and I think that there has to be something more. I think it's hard for people like you and your friends and me who may think about things so deeply that we have to try to understand everything. And when I see a verse like this, I'm literally telling myself like I have to get rid of my religion because this verse completely goes against my morals. However, I think that some things in the Bible are so powerful. My relationship with Jesus is so powerful that when I see a verse like this, it really is hard for me. So yes, I don't know how I'm supposed to take that verse, but I hope for someone like you and other people when they see these verses, there's so many sources that you're never going to get a satisfying answer. That's the main thing with the verse like this. But you guys go so hard to try to find sources to support your reasoning. There are resources out there that you can get answers to. Those answers might not be morally like feel completely good, but there are answers that you can
Hey,
get
real
out there.
quick.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, you basically just told us that disagrees with your moral preferences, so you ignore it and act as if it doesn't exist.
No, I know. That's not what I meant to say.
So you don't think slavery has always been wrong.
No. Okay. I'll
So
repeat
which one is it? Has it always been wrong? And you just kind of ignore that verse because it disagrees with your moral preferences, or has slavery not always been wrong, and you abide by the prescriptions of moral truths via your standard of morality, which is the all-knowing, all-perfect creator that you believe in?
Yeah. So I'm going to say that I do think slavery has always been wrong, but I do think that there are some decent explanations that can explain those verses.
Which
However,
is?
I'm not familiar with. I've heard a couple reasonings. One was there's progressive stages that there were stages throughout the Bible and verses that were slowly getting rid of slavery because during that time, if they were to eradicate slavery all at once, society wouldn't have been too accepting of that. I've also heard verses in the Bible. People say that.
Okay, well, the first explanation is insufficient because in that same book of Leviticus, he explicitly condemns slavery as it would relate to a non-Israelite owning an Israelite, and then specifically condones slavery as it relates to an Israelite owning a non-Israelite. So if it was the instantiation of progressive values to slowly like weed slavery out of society, well, then he wouldn't have explicitly condemned it as it related to a non-Israelite owning an Israelite, right? So at the end of the day, I just truly do believe that you see text in the Bible that says slavery used to be okay, that goes against your moral preferences, so you ignore it, and you just hope that there's an explanation somewhere out there to make your belief in Christianity and your belief that slavery has always been wrong coincide. And the reason I've started this side conversation about slavery in the Christian Bible is just to demonstrate that while you see some crazy shit written in the text you think comes from God, and you're like, oh my God, I'm just going to ignore that because it disagrees with my moral preferences. What the fuck is the difference between that and me reading text in the Bible that condemns marriage between two men or two women and ignoring it because it disagrees with my moral preferences? Yeah. Seemingly, every Christian alive is a cherry picker. At some point with some text from their gospel. Some cherry pick pretty blatantly like you do by saying, well, it says slavery is okay. Nah, I'm going to ignore it. Some other people cherry pick by arguing that the text is non-literal, like as it would relate to Samuel, when God straight up tells his followers to genocide the Amalekites. It happens all the time. So why are you so vehemently strong and adamant about using this totalitarian sense of believing every word that comes from the Bible to condemn two men that just want to live their lives?
Yeah, so I think that the reason I said I hold to Scripture, because I don't know if I were to say, because I am a Christian and I've grown up that way, I couldn't necessarily say that even if I wasn't a Christian, I would still hold these same beliefs. But I do have friends who are not Christians, and they still think that a marriage should be between a man and a woman, and they still think that we should not.
So you hold a secular argument too. So what is the secular argument for the position that marriage should only be between a man and a woman?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying as well. Even if I hold to a secular.
So what's the secular position? Then explain it to me. Give me a secular argument to instantiate that marriage should only be between a man and a woman.
Yeah, and it's not a good argument. I just think that there's something within society that is telling, like, I think a lot of the liberal people, every one of their ideas is, well, we don't want to do it, but you can do it. Like, there's no structure within the liberal Democratic Party, and I think that's why the conservatives.
You're not giving me an argument, sir.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm just there. I don't think that there is necessarily an argument. I think that the main arguments are they're not able to reproduce. I don't think that it's a healthy relationship if they have kids and these kids are seeing two dads or two women. I don't think that's a healthy structure for these kids to grow up with two dads. For example, they need a loving, compassionate mom as well. And I don't think if there's two moms that they need a dad who's an authoritative figure and is like, I don't know, like I feel like there's always something missing. And even you can see this with kids. This is my opinion. You can laugh at my opinion. Other people have the same opinion as well. So that's the same with people who have divorced parents as well. They may not felt like they were growing up with a dad. So I think that if they're just living with their mom, so I think that we can see that in society.
Great, got it. So we're going to combat both of those positions. Do you have grandparents, sir?
Yes, I do.
Are they alive?
Yeah.
Are they still married?
Yes, they are.
Do you think they should get divorced because they're no longer able to reproduce?
That's not their choice, though.
Is it the choice of two men that are together to not have the ability to reproduce with one another?
Yes.
So you're telling me a gay couple can choose to reproduce with one another?
No, it's their choice not to reproduce.
Oh, so it's actually not the choice of the two men that are with one another that they cannot reproduce with one another, just like it's not the choice of your grandparents to have the ability to produce with one another.
No, because one's a natural processes. When women have menopause, they're no longer able to reproduce. One, you're specifically going into the relationship full well knowing that you're not able to reproduce.
So it would be immoral for me to marry an infertile woman.
No, again, that's not her choice. Her choice is not to be infertile. That's something natural that's taking place.
Wait, so you're saying it's natural that infertile women can't reproduce with a man?
I'm saying that's something.
I just want to clarify. That's what you're saying. It's natural that a man cannot reproduce with an infertile woman, right?
I don't mean natural by the sense that it's natural. I mean natural by the sense that it's biological.
So it's biologically true that a man cannot reproduce with an infertile woman. Therefore, it's okay, right?
Oh, you know the point I'm trying to make, and you just keep like going around it.
I'm trying to clarify on the point that you make. So once again, explain it to explain to me why it is okay for a man to marry an infertile woman even though they can't reproduce.
So an infertile woman She could not choose to be uninfertile.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So you're saying it's okay for a man to marry an infertile woman because the woman can't just wake up one morning and decide that she's no longer infertile and can reproduce with a man, correct?
Yes.
So if two men are together, can one of the men just wake up one morning and decide that they now all of a sudden have a uterus and want to reproduce with the other guy?
What the hell kind of a question is that? Can he choose that? No.
So in the same way, a man and an infertile woman will never be able to reproduce with one another. Two cis men will never be able to reproduce with one another. So if that makes it okay for the man and the infertile woman, why is it not okay for the two men?
I've also seen a lot of infertile women in relationships with men who have gotten the chance to reproduce after many years of struggling with infertility. And I think that is a thing that we see quite often, that they were not able, and through their beliefs, you could say, through just random chances, they were able to then reproduce afterwards.
Well,
And I don't think that
so,
would ever be
so if it's hinging on a possibility of reproduction in the future, well, I mean, we'll just merely reframe the argument in a sense that that possibility doesn't exist. Let's assume that a woman was straight up doesn't have a uterus. You could assume that she was not born with a uterus, or she developed some type of cancer in which led to the removal of her uterus, and she is certainly infertile for life. Is it okay for me to marry her?
I'm going to say yes. I just think
Okay.
that
So this is the thing, though. This is why your argument is invalid now, because you have two men. Okay, they're together, and you're like, no, 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 no. That's not okay because they will never be able to generate offspring with one another. But if you replace one of those men with an infertile woman, all of a sudden you're like, yes, 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 that's okay, even though they'll never be able to generate offspring with one another. The big issue in your argument now is that we've identified that this idea of an ability to reproduce or lack thereof is not morally relevant to the evaluation that you compute to yield the conclusion that two men being together is incorrect. Okay? You are not telling me that it is wrong to be GAY because no reproduction. You're just telling me that it's wrong to be GAY because it's GAY.
yeah, and I agree. And I'm going to tell you that I agree with what you're saying, so I'm not going to try to say like I'm trying to switch the conversation. I'm just going to say that, do you think that morals exist? No, it's going to lead, it's leading into what I'm saying.
Do I think
Like,
that morality? I'm not a nihilist. Yes, I think that morality exists.
And
Now,
that you think
I
it's-
really hope that you're able to find a way to demonstrate how this is conceptually relevant to our conversation.
will.
Oh, wait,
You think-
actually, before you continue, do you mind if I debunk the other argument you gave me? Because I forgot to respond to that misinformation too.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll probably agree with it, but I mean, I can't go back to the Bible because
Well, so you told me that also you think that children need a mom and a dad, and having two moms or two dads leads to bad outcomes because the father is a figure of authority, and then the woman, the mother, is a figure of love and care. So first of all, saying that men lack an ability to be loving and caring is quite the self-proclamation, quite the
well, my dad's very
self-report.
dad is very caring and loving, so I didn't mean it in that direct way.
Right.
I'm just saying that
And
again,
also saying that women cannot be a figure of authority is also quite the self-report.
again,
We'll get on
and
to
I
that.
also think that my mom is a woman of authority. Again, I think that the Liberal Party is trying to switch what has been for generations and generations. The man is supposed to lead the house. The woman is supposed to lead the house as well.
I
But
understand.
there
I knew
is
that
a
this is what the
difference.
position was leading into, and
There
I'd
is a
actually preferably
difference.
debate that.
So you don't think that there's a difference between a man and a woman? There's no difference.
I do think that there are differences between men and women, or
Oh
else they
God,
wouldn't.
if you would have said no, I would have. I don't even know what I would
If
have
you would
said.
allow me to finish,
Yeah.
I think that there are differences between men and women, or else they wouldn't have two separate terms. They wouldn't be defined They would be defined synonymously if there was no differences. And he got banned. That's really unfortunate because I was about to tell him that you could go to the link in Parker's bio on TikTok and read a 32-page bibliography that demonstrates over 50 years of research that shows that there's no outcomes in the difference of parental structures between two moms, two dads, or a mom and a dad. There's no difference in the outcomes. All the outcomes for the children are all the same. The only time we see different outcomes for children being raised in different family structures is if they have one parent compared to two. But if it's two parents, no matter if it's a mom and a dad, two moms or two dads, the outcomes are always the same. But we were just getting started. I was just getting ready to have so much fun, absolutely debunking the claim that men need to be leaders. I would love to have had the opportunity to debate that with him, but he did get banned. What's going on, Carson? Do you support Trump?
I do, yes.
Awesome. Before we hop into a discussion, I have a couple people to thank here. Tina, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Dude, everybody, let's get 200 Tina W's. Tina says, Dean, this was one of your arguments that had me hooting and hollering at my computer. Go off, King. Well, it actually used to be the only thing that I debated, but TikTok bans those conversations, as we just saw, so I stopped debating it. But I used to literally, instead of doing political live streams, I just advocate for the LGBTQ plus community on live every single day. I actually really miss those debates, and I wish that TikTok didn't censor them. Bethany, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Then Chris with a $1 and the 23 cents. And then also Molly, thank you so much for the 20 pounds over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Molly. Molly says, thanks for standing up for democracy against imperialism and for Ukraine. My heart is breaking every day. I know, man. Me too. Thank you so much for the 20 pounds, Molly. That is so incredibly kind of you. If you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and the PayPal and the link tree in the bio over here on TikTok. I get 100% of those proceeds. They go straight to me. And then you could also find it in the pinned message over on the YouTube stream. But anyways, Carson, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I support Trump just because, I mean, just what he believes is similar to what I believe. I mean, he's not a bad person, and I just think that what he is doing with our country is great. And
Really?
getting it back to what it needs to be. Yeah, putting America first. That's what it needs to be.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to just go ahead and mute your mic while you're not talking, just because I am getting a little bit of feedback from the background. It sounds like you're outside by like a pool or something. So first and foremost, you said that he's not a bad guy. Bad guy. You know what I need? In fact, I'm going to order this on Amazon as soon as I'm done with my stream on here. A fucking incorrect buzzer that I could hit and it goes, "Eh!" You know what I mean? Like one of those. I like one of those because I think that's a very incorrect statement. I think he is a bad guy. I think that rapists are bad.
Prove it. Why is that? Why is he a bad person?
Sure, great question. So the reason I think that Donald J. Trump is a bad person is because he's a rapist. He was held civilly liable for raping E. Jean Carroll in the year 1993. Another reason why I think he's a bad guy is because he's literally hit on 10-year-old girls. He told a 10-year-old girl that he'd be dating her in 10 years. It's also the case that he owned a Miss Teen USA pageant, and he would boast to Howard Stern and to other individuals, public live on air, it's all recorded, about walking into the changing rooms of these half-naked teenagers to look at them and to inspect them while they change. Imagine if somebody did that to your daughter.
No, there's no proof of that. There is no proof of that at all.
How much are you
But
willing
we're
to
gonna
bet?
skip. So wait. So how is Biden better than Trump?
Before we talk about
Biden a better person than Trump?
before we talk about Biden, which is what you guys love to do, you said there's no proof of the claim that he would boast about walking into the changing room of half-naked teenage girls, right?
Yes.
How much money are you willing to bet?
Any amount.
Name the amount.
Let's say $100.
I'm being serious. Are you sure that you want to bet $100?
Yes.
Okay. So if I give you evidence, you are going to Venmo or PayPal me $100, right? And if I can't, I'm going to PayPal or Venmo you $100, right? Carson?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Potentially, yeah.
Well, I'm making bank today, dude. Holy shit. I don't know why you just signed $100 away. Man, I mean, the tariffs have been hitting hard, dude. And, I really needed this. So thank you.
Obligation to do that.
I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And,
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what-
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So you could find my Venmo and the PayPal in the link tree in the bio. I could also just spell them out for you.
What is that site you saw that on?
So this is a recording.
What podcast is that?
This
Where
was
is it?
this was from the Howard Stern podcast in the early 2000s. He was a frequent visitor of it.
Okay.
So
I
how
don't-
you could send me $100
Unless I see, is there a picture of Trump saying that? Is there a video of him saying it, or is it just?
it was radio.
Is it just okay? It's just radio. So with all the soundboards now in the world, I don't believe that. I don't believe that was Trump. I just.
It could have been
don't,
like AI.
Because, yeah, it could have been AI. Absolutely.
I have a question. Did AI exist 8 years ago?
Oh, I mean, who knows?
So the answer would be no. And I mean, you could like find this on CNN's YouTube account from 8 years ago.
CNN. That's the problem. Okay, CNN is so corrupt.
So
corrupt.
here's the issue with what you're arguing right now. Like, I get it. I think that mainstream media, like sources, like they do lie a lot.
Mainstream media is so
So
corrupt.
Carson,
yeah.
if you just allow me to finish, I get it. Like,
Oh,
they, do,
yeah, sorry.
they do lie a lot. I'm like pretty sympathetic to that view. I think that you probably are much more extreme about it than I am. But that only goes into like their subjective interpretation or abuse of fact, not just like the reporting of an audio from a radio station in the early 2000s. At this point, you do owe me $100, and you're just kind of engaging in fringe conspiracy theory to get around that fact. So I mean, there's like plenty of individuals.
Look
Yeah,
at
because-
look at CNN and look at the arguments that they put up after the election. How they blame Trump for being a bad person, but they praise Kamala.
Exactly,
And she has
exactly.
no-
Look
she
at
has
look at
no
their
point of
exactly. You're saying look at their opinion and evaluate their opinions
Yes.
for being correct or incorrect. I have a question. Was there any opinion of CNN in the audio clip I just played you?
No, there wasn't. No,
exactly,
and-
exactly.
and
So the
every-
whole argument that it's mainstream media is therefore it's false is just is absolutely debunked. Not to mention that this clip doesn't originate from CNN. This clip originates from Howard Stern's radio podcast in the early 2000s, in which he was a frequent guest of. I mean, you could find Donald Trump talking about this. You could find Howard Stern talking about this. I mean, at this point, you seriously do owe me $100, and you could find my Venmo and PayPal.
There's no
to
evidence
pay
in
me.
there. He might have he owned the building that the pageant was going in. Did he actually look at younger girls as they were undressing?
Yeah, do you want to
and
hear it again where he says that
looking
they were
at
like
them?
naked? He says they're naked in this clip, and he inspects them. Yes,
Inspects the women.
yes.
Inspects the
He
women
said it. He
while
said
they
it in the
were-
clip.
While they were naked.
He said
While
it in
they
the
were
clip. Yes.
naked. Play it again. Play it again. You might be right. Maybe I missed it.
Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything
doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is every?
He just said it himself. So they're getting dressed and they're standing there with no clothes.
There's no proof that they were naked when he walks in there. And he's walking around the pageant, making sure everybody's okay. I mean, he owns the.
Hey,
he
I have a
owns
question.
the building at the pageant.
If you're standing with no clothes, are you naked?
Yeah. When you have no clothes on, yes, you're naked.
So
yes.
he says they were naked.
No, he never said that.
Listen
No,
to
he never-
dude. Listen.
He says as they were
You see
getting
these
dressed.
incredible looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that. Incredible. Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good?
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everyone?
There you go. $100, please. Venmo, PayPal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you like use your brain?
Yeah. Sorry. No, I can use my brain perfectly fine. I don't insult people like you do to belittle them to a different level.
Sir,
So,
I actually feel like I'm being like pretty like calm and nice to you for like the various crazy
Yeah.
shit you're
When you
saying.
said, "Am I going to use my brain?" Yes, absolutely. Everybody has a brain. Everybody's able to think.
Carson, like
Yes.
for me to believe or say anything outside of the idea that Carson is not currently using their brain would be like a lie. I am not a liar, okay? But now let's not detract from the fact that you're in the middle of sending me $100 on Venmo and PayPal.
No.
Wow,
No.
look at that, guys. Republican men are not men of their words. Republican men are spineless. Republican
men
lie.
are true. Republican men are true men.
Oh
The
wait,
men
so
of this
you're saying that
country,
true
yes.
men are spineless and true men lie?
Why you have? That's your opinion, but that's not true.
Wait,
Spineless
would you
power
admit?
couple-
Would you admit that a spineless man is a man that would make a deal with somebody else and then not pull through when it's time to meet their obligation?
And yeah, I made a deal with you, so yeah, I will PayPal you $100 because that is the right thing to do. And I told you that I'm a man of my word, and so is the Republican Party.
Oh, great. So you're saying if you don't PayPal me $100, you're not a man of your word.
Yeah,
Do it right now.
I'm doing it right now.
You can find it in the link in my bio. I could actually even spell it out for you here at DEANWITHRS. Okay. If you just go to that's the PayPal right there, man. I'd highly recommend you to go through my link tree. And yeah. Holden, thank you so much for the $20 donation on
Let me
Venmo.
make one more argument with you.
Wait a second. Let me thank Holden real quick. Holden, thank you for the $20 donation on Venmo. Holden says, my wife and I have been watching you for a while, and we both have learned so much from you. You're an amazing dude, and I seriously appreciate you for what you do. Love and appreciate you, my guy. Holden, that's so incredibly kind of you. At least 200 W Holdens. And then also Elizabeth, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, saying, Dean, I love you, man. But it's anyway, not anyways. And chamomile is how it's pronounced. No, it's caramile. All right, let's get that one straight, Elizabeth, but thank you for the 10. Then Bethany, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Cara with a 5, and Wendy with a 10, and Tina with a 20. Thank you, Tina, Wendy, and Cara, and Bethany. Everybody, please show some love to Tina, Wendy, Cara, and Bethany. And then, oh my God, also Lana with the $50 donation over on Venmo. Holy shit, Lana, that is so much money. Dude, you guys are so incredibly generous. Thank you so much for the love, Lana. Lana says, I love what you stand for. I accidentally pressed request the first time. Dude, no worries, Lana. Everybody, 500 W Lanas, y'all. That is so kind. Thank you so much, Lana. It actually looks like Lana was able to donate me 50 before you have pulled through to your obligation of donating me 100, because apparently you're a man of your word.
So let me make one more argument with you, and if you beat me here, then I will Venmo you $100.
So
Deal?
it's shifting the goalposts, but I'll beat you anywhere.
Okay. So tell me how deporting illegal immigrants is bad. Deporting people that are committed felons, that have committed crimes outside the United States, inside the United States, and leaving them in the United States is a good thing.
Dude, are you sure that this is what you want to shift the goalposts
I am
to?
100% positive.
Okay, well, how about this? Okay, since you want to shift the goalposts to this, double or nothing.
Double or nothing. Let's do it.
Now you're about to owe me $200.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
do you place America first, and do you care about the American economy?
I do, yes.
Right. So that's why mass deportation is bad compared to mass amnesty.
Mass deportation is not what I asked about, and it is not happening.
You said removing undocumented migrants from a country.
I did not say that. I said illegal migrants that have committed crimes.
So when you say illegal, I say undocumented.
Okay, but it's still illegally. They entered the country illegally. There's a legal way to do it.
So if you enter, so if you use undocumented, so if you're an undocumented migrant in America, you did use illegal means.
You can cut everybody else off on the show, but you're not going to cut me off. If you enter the country illegally, that is committing a crime in the United States, therefore you are subjected to leave. Correct? It's okay. So what's your basis?
Yeah, you just said if you commit a crime in the United States of America, you're subjected to leave. That's not
No,
true. You
no,
kinda
that's
gave,
not
like
what I
Donald
said.
Trump
If
golden carpet to the Oval Office, but
Oh, okay. So, that's not what I said. If you are an illegal immigrant that enters this country illegally, and you commit a crime in this country,
by
or
illegal entry.
by illegal entry, yes, you are subject to leave. Yes.
Okay. So you want me to tell you why that's a bad thing, right?
Why is that a bad thing?
And for double or nothing, right?
Yes.
Are you sure you want to go down this route?
Positive.
Okay, mute the mic because I could hear the pool again.
Sorry.
Okay, so here's why that's a bad thing, okay? So I think that we should offer all undocumented migrants that have not committed a violent crime a pathway or residency or citizenship compared to deporting them from the country because it really hurts our country. Undocumented migrants, millions of people, account for a large proportion of our labor force, and these are productive providers that pay taxes and grow our GDP. So in the last fiscal year, undocumented migrants paid close to $100 billion in taxes on the federal, state, and local level. Okay, it's also worth pointing out that they don't receive benefits such as Social Security, such as Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, EBT, etc., Section 8 included. Therefore, they're actually putting more into the economy and taking out less compared to citizens. They're productive providers that grow GDP growth, give our government revenue
But-
money to then turn around and spend on social programs to grow our country, as well as they increase average qualities of life. So when you say that you want to send them out of the country, well, A, you're crippling American industries because you're forcefully removing millions of laborers. B, you're costing our government an exorbitant amount of money and opportunity cost. $100 billion per year in taxes is $1 trillion over 10 years. C, you're slowing GDP growth because if these people are working jobs, making money, and paying taxes, well, they're also spending money in that same economy. And then D, they get lower wages on average because they have less bargaining power as they're undocumented citizens. If we give them a pathway to residency or citizenship, it's just not the mere fact that they'll continue to pay taxes, they'll continue to grow the GDP, etc. They'll actually continue to pay more in taxes as they'll get higher wages, which will then increase GDP growth. So in other words, mass amnesty, good for the economy, increase GDP growth, increase government revenue, increase labor force, increase productive capacity. Mass deportation, decrease size of labor force, decrease productive capacity, decrease GDP growth, and decrease government revenue. Now pay up $200.
No, so because that is sorry, you make it seem that money is go over the greater good. Are you gonna pick money over so somebody that has a very criminal record that's murdered 10, 15 people but brings in, I don't know, 10,000 on taxes yearly that helps your cause for yearly taxes for illegal immigrants, and they've on record murdered 10 to 15 people. We're gonna let them in the country and do whatever they want.
Wow, now I know that you really owe me my $200 since you're red herring my position. I specifically only think that undocumented migrants that don't have prior violent offenses should be offered this pathway to residency or citizenship. Undocumented migrants that have committed violent offenses should either be housed in an American jail or housed in a jail in their home country. So, try to respond to what I said without giving me a red herring to my position.
Either way, you are still an illegal immigrant in this country. Do it the legal way. It's not that hard to enter the United States legally and do the right thing. Do it the legal way, and we don't have to worry about undocumented immigrants. Everybody can work towards.
So you just want everybody in our country to be vetted, right?
Vetted?
Yeah, we want to know who's in our country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, now you really got to pay up because it's exactly what mass amnesty would do. There is millions of undocumented migrants in our country, and that is a problem for national security. So we offer them mass amnesty, a pathway to residency or citizenship. All of a sudden, we know who every single one of these. All of a sudden, we know who every single one of these people is. Boom, your problem is now solved. And now you're saying, well, is every single person going to do it? But now you really got to pay up because if your concern here is practicality, right? And the ability to either deport all undocumented migrants in America or get all undocumented migrants to be vetted, it is the case that mass amnesty is better for concerns of practicality because...
You realize mass amnesty has been around for...
Do you mind if you'd let me finish?
Okay? Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So now my last statement here is now you really got to fucking pay up because your last statement there was, well, how do we know that all undocumented migrants in America are actually going to do it? Okay, what if we have undocumented migrants slip through the cracks and not be naturalized? Well, it is a case that more undocumented migrants would be vetted under mass amnesty compared to the amount of undocumented migrants that would be deported. Why? Because they would be on board with mass amnesty and willing to cooperate. They are not on board with mass deportation and are unwilling to cooperate. So your concerns of practicality and feasibility actually rule out mass deportation while making mass amnesty all the more attractive. Now you really got to pay up there, Carson.
Mass amnesty has been around for a long time. Trump's bringing in a change because it's not happening the way that a lot of people, Joe Biden, Barack Obama had planned. Trump's making a change.
What? No,
Trump's
it hasn't.
Better into this country. Yes.
No, we've never seen a large-scale system of mass amnesty. How can you say that? You understand that, the Biden-Harris administration had higher deportation numbers than the Trump administration.
Bull. There is no. That is not true.
I'm sorry. The only reason I know this.
Look at this year. Look at 2025.
The only reason I know this is a wait. I like to clarify. The only reason I know this is a fact is because this is an argument that a lot of Republicans will request up and run on me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Like, because I don't support mass deportation, so then the Republicans will come up here and say, well, your guy deported even more people than Trump. Ha ha ha. Why are you supporting somebody that supports mass deportation? That's the only reason I know this fact. So I'm actually giving you a conservative argument. Yeah, like his deportation numbers are like absurdly low. But anyways, you got to pay up because I just did detail to you how mass amnesty was better than mass deportation. And you actually didn't have a response to the position. You just said, well, I'm on board with Trump because he's trying something new. He ran! Ah! He didn't even get banned. He didn't get banned. He left. He ran. Wow. He just proved that Republican MAGA men are not men of their words and are spineless, okay? Because he's the one that said it himself that he would not be a man of his word if he didn't pay up. So thank you so much for telling us that MAGA men are not good men, are not men of their words, are spineless, okay? But I'm not going to forget that debt. He owes me $200, okay? But let's go ahead and move on to the next guest. Everybody, if you are in that queue, make sure that you support Trump, y'all. We're going to go to get that next guest up on the live. Literally right now, we have them loading in. Let's go to get Zach up here. But oh my God, Tiffany with the $80 donation on Venmo. Holy shit. Dude, sleeping. Holy shit, Tiffany. I want at least 8,000 W Tiffany's down below in that chat literally right now. Nothing but W Tiffany down below, dude. $80. That is so much fucking money. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Tiffany says, my husband and I seriously adore you. Thank you so much for fighting for us every day. I hope you run for Congress one day. You give us hope. Thank you so much for the love, Tiffany. I do see a future in politics for myself. I don't know if it'll be Congress. I'm still young. I have time to figure it out. But that is seriously so incredibly kind of you. What is going on, Noah? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right, awesome. Real quick. What time is it, man? Skedaddle. Moving on. Here we go. Guys, if you're MAGA, go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that comment section, and we'll get you up here for a conversation. What's going on, Bree? Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Great. What year were you born in? Just to double check your age.
2005.
I'm not sure that you could be 18 born in 2005, Bree.
No, I was.
All right, you're just.
I swear, like on everything.
Bree, math doesn't lie. Okay, let's just do it. Let's just do it real quick. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So think about it this way. What is 2025 minus 2005?
Oh shoot. Gotta
20.
go.
So that's 20, okay? So that would mean if you were born in 2005 and your birthday had already passed this year, you'd be 20. So what does that mean that the minimum age for somebody born in 2005 who has not had their birthday yet this year would be? 19. See you later, Bray. We're going to get that next guest, Mr. Travis, up in the box. Dude, everyone continue to show some love to Tiffany down below. What's up, Travis?
Hello.
You support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Before we get into a conversation, I have a couple more people to thank here. Nathan, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Nathan. As well as Lena with another $50 over on Venmo. Thank you for the love, Lena. Oh my God, you guys are being so incredibly generous today. Thank you, Lena. Lena says, for all the good that you do, I want to see 500 W Lenas down below in that chat right now. Thank you so much for the love, Lena. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Lena. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate you so much. Well, apparently, something bad just happened with a guest. We're going to go to restart the live, and I'll be right back, everyone. Click on that profile. I'll be right back. See you guys in like literally 5 seconds. He mooned him. He mooned the stream. And I wasn't even looking. His name's Travis, goes to UCLA. It'd just be a shame if people were able to find him. All right, just give us one moment. Yeah, I can't risk that. All right, we're already back on live. Yeah. Well, we're just gonna restart the live. It's okay. It's okay, you guys. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to be safe than sorry. Sam, thank you so much for the 20 pounds over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much for the love, Sam. Thank you so much, Sam. Welcome back in, everybody. Welcome back in, everybody. It's better to be safe than sorry, y'all. It is better to be safe than sorry. I wasn't even looking at my phone screen because I was reading off a donation, but apparently he did something bad. So, everybody that's tuning back in here, I'm so sorry that you guys had to see that. I wish I was looking at my phone screen so I could have got that out of here quicker. By the way, his name's Travis and he goes to UCLA. Feel free to find out who he is and get him kicked out of college. Feel free. In fact, I don't know why he's doing this, but he's now even spamming MAGA down below in the chat. His @ is One Piece Lover 8291. Feel free to go figure out who he is and get him kicked out of school. But anyways, for the 2.1 thousand people tuning back into the live stream, everybody, make sure that we are double tapping away on that phone screen, y'all. We did just have to restart the stream, but we're going to go ahead and just hop right back into the debate. So if you are in that queue, make sure that you do support Trump. And we are literally just going to pick up right where we left off, everyone. We're just going to pick up right where we left off. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
I do.
All right, awesome. Before we hop into a discussion, I still just have more people to thank. Once again, if you're one of the 2.5 thousand people, make sure that we are double tapping and sharing the stream out with a handful of friends, you guys. Let's try to rebuild that stream and get it to push back out on that For You page. But yeah, Lena, once again, thank you so much for the $50. And then Jackie with the $50 and Sarah with the 20. Oh my God, dude. W Jackie, W Sarah, down below in that comment section right fucking now. Thank you guys so much. Jackie says, I just want to say that I listen every day and I've not only learned so much, but about better articulating my political social beliefs. You've also taught me how to advocate for myself in life and business. I'm more confident than ever. Appreciate you. Jackie, you're a queen. Let's fucking go. Huge shout out to Jackie and Sarah. You guys are awesome. Thank you both. But Mr. Bain, go ahead and take it away and tell us why you support Trump.
I mean, I just support a change. He was elected before Biden, and I saw cheaper and I saw a better economy. And then when Biden took over, I saw a worse economy and then a decline in one. And then now Trump coming back, there's a lot of emphasis on tariffs are going to destroy us. But I mean, and sure, maybe it's too drastic, and maybe certain things are too much, but. Before he did the same thing in his previous election or his previous term, he did implement tariffs, and they did benefit. It did benefit the American people, in my opinion, right?
Okay, saying that he did the same thing in his first term is just a wild misunderstanding of truth. So
all I said was he did implement tariffs in his first term. That is correct.
So it's not all you said. You said he did the same thing in his first term.
I apologize. I'm not trying. I'm not a debater, and I understand that you're very good at this. So, and obviously, like my age is, I'm 40. I'm not trying to get into like a back and forth. I'm just giving you my views, and you can take them from there.
Sure. So, I mean, well, let's first, I just want to talk about the tariffs that he implemented during his first term. So a part of those were steel tariffs. And I mean, those affected the industry. So factories closed down as downstream industries like audio and construction faced higher costs. And overall, this led to these industries losing around $3.5 billion in output. And then also the tariffs that he imposed on China in a more general sense bankrupted American farmers by starting a trade war, which destroyed our own exports. It was so bad that he actually bailed them out with a $28 billion bill through Congress. But I would like just to debate this claim that Trump was better for the economy in a very interesting new way. So I want to go back and forth with you. I'm going to name a Trump economic policy that is terrible. And then you're going to name either a Biden and Harris or Harris economic policy that was terrible. And we're going to see who can name more. Is that fair?
I mean, it's a fair assumption. I don't think I would be a fair representation of somebody that could quote and cite fact on that. So it's not me, bailing out. It's just, and we can try it, but at the moment I can't cite something that I can be factual on, you would win. And I'm okay with that. If you're cool.
Okay, well, how about this? Instead of just playing a game, can you just straight up name any policy that was passed by the last administration that you thought negatively impacted the economy?
How about this? How about you name a few, and I'll tell you if I thought any of those were bad. How about that?
Sure. Why don't I just name all the big policy they passed? So one of the big ones was the American Rescue Plan. It was just a stimulus bill as a result of COVID, very similar to the one passed under Trump, but for a little bit less. They also had the PACT Act, which was an $800 million investment into expansion for VA healthcare benefits. The Chips and Science Act, which delegated a couple $1 billion into
How about this?
subsidizing chip producers to build more production facilities in America. And you said, how about this? You have something to say? Go for it.
Yeah, wasn't there one around infrastructure in America?
Yeah, they had the infrastructure bill.
All right. So, and again, I am going to tell you up front that I'm not fully educated and I have not read all these bills in full depth. I know you have a lot of research in front of you. I'm just sitting in front of my phone. But I will say that the idea of that was, my understanding is the electric car industry and getting people off of gas emissions is a big deal. So we build out the infrastructure in these states, and then we have the ability to have more electric vehicles, less gas vehicles, in an attempt to phase out. Am I generally in the correct ballpark?
So that wasn't the main focus of the infrastructure bill. Of course, it did offer like a couple $1 billion in subsidies for building more charging stations. However, the main focus of the infrastructure bill was just to literally spawn jobs into thin air for Americans to go out and work, so we could increase, our own country's productive capacities, which would lead to more Americans feeling more confident in spending money, which would have pulled us out of the negative implications onset by the pandemic. I know that a lot of like Republicans put a huge preface on like the last administration's push for EV, but it was nothing more than a couple $1 billion for charging stations and like sentiment, insofar as the words that they spoke.
Well, I know, but on top of that, Governor Gavs, whatever, the California governor, he put a lot of emphasis on.
Apparently, the guest just ripped one. Go ahead.
No, the governor of California, right? He put it around the same time of that bill. He put a lot of emphasis of saying, "I'm going to take California. We're going to go all electric right now." But the emphasis, if he had done that, I don't even able to accomplish
I don't remember.
Wouldn't he have crashed the electric system?
So I don't remember that. Maybe it's possible that I wasn't too focused on it. I was too young. But like that's not really relevant because we're kind of comparing what Kamala Harris ran on compared to what Trump ran on. And in like the sense of economy, just to kind of like pull things back together, Kamala Harris was significantly better for the economy. In like literally 2 sentences, we could discover this truth very easily. Donald Trump's economic policy has intentionally crashed the stock market and has sent our country barreling towards a recession. Kamala Harris ran on no policy that would have intentionally crashed the stock market and sent America barreling towards a recession.
Yeah, I believe that. I feel like even if I were to say I agree with you on that statement, let me preface it by maybe Kamala Harris would have had a better cabinet that would have guided her better, but she was and is inexperienced as a public figure, as the president of the United States. She couldn't hold public conferences. She couldn't talk with confidence. And if she was handed the stick as in the president of the United States, you're the number one leader in the entire world. You have to be the strength of the world.
I doubt that. But so would you agree that the easiest way to evaluate which candidate had more strength and confidence in their speech would be to put them head to head in a debate and see who comes out on top?
Yes.
Okay, well, they did do that, and Kamala Harris came out on top, and then Donald Trump started accusing her of getting the questions ahead of time, having an earpiece to hear from the advisors on what to say, and saying that she got 3v1. Watching the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump exposed in such a real way exactly how Kamala Harris was significantly more confident and significantly better at speech than he was. And then just about like experience. Sure. Before you do ask a question, I want to make one more statement just about general experience. So she had more experience than Trump. She had experience in all 3 branches of government. Sure. In the judicial branch, she had served as a lawyer, an AG, and a DA. In the congressional branch, she had served as a senator. And then, in the legislative branch, crazy. And then in the executive branch, she had served as a vice president. So she had more experience in all 3 branches of government compared to Trump.
Completely understood. Yeah, he has no political experience whatsoever outside of his dealings with his business and enterprises. But my question to you is Kamala Harris standing up to Hillary Clinton before any scandal type information, all conspiracy theories out the door. Those 2 people, put them together, you would have to admit that Hillary Clinton is a masterful politician who's sat next to the president of the United States. And in my opinion, the first lady, most of them are highly intelligent women. I believe that that's a partnership that helps guide the president, just like a marriage would in real life. So
I don't understand what
you
Hillary
put those
Clinton.
two together.
I don't know what Hillary has
Yeah,
to
but
do
Trump
with anything.
destroyed her in debate. Trump destroyed her in debate.
Okay,
Absolutely
I'm not
demolished
gonna
her.
lie. I was like 12 when they had their presidential debates in 2015.
Yeah, but you've gone back and looked at them now, haven't you? I mean, you've not
Listen.
looked at any
No,
of
I
those?
haven't. But watch this. I'm positive that people will deny that claim. But even if I accept it for intents and purposes of our dialogue today, what the fuck does Donald Trump beating Hillary Clinton in a debate have to do with why Donald Trump is a better presidential candidate than Kamala Harris?
No, that's not what I stated. I said that when it comes to a public figurehead, it didn't seem like she could hack it on the public stage. And then I said, and then you said,
What does
that
Hillary
in that
Clinton have to
one
do with
debate-
anything? How is
But you-
Hillary Clinton relevant at all?
You listed one debate where she showed confidence over Donald Trump, and the accusation there is that I mean, I apologize. I'm a little nervous. I'm
No, it's
not
okay. I
sitting
actually
in
rather
front
like
of
that. Donald Trump.
5,000 people.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I
Please
mean,
save us. I like that.
People have a lot of criticism for him. I'm not here to take cheap shots on any party or any person, right? I'm just here to have a spirited debate. I got lucky start, so I already admitted that I don't have the political background to really even be sitting here in this conversation. I do appreciate it. I would like to address one more thing, and I will then drop off and allow you to have someone that's probably more witted on here than me.
Yeah, bro, go
But
for it.
before, when that guy did that really jerky, dumb college move, right? He's obviously a young dude. You said go find him and let's get him canceled, or let's get him kicked out of college. I mean, you think
Based?
that
Let's go.
you think that one stupid mistake deserves him to have his entire future ruined because he's a dumb kid? I mean, come on, man. Have him get.
I think that actions have consequences, and I mean
Yeah, but
his not only came up onto my life, but also Parker's, and I think that public exposure of indecency in a setting where not everybody is over the age of 18 is terrible. I mean, like the guy not only exposed himself to adults but also to minors. I think actions have consequences, and getting kicked out of university for doing that on multiple occasions is a very light consequence.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't understand that this is multiple times. I didn't understand that this is like a repeat thing. But I just always look forward to the fact that we're all at one point young and dumb, and that seemed like he's a young and dumb moment. He obviously came on here to get you kicked off that live and suppress your viewers. So I do appreciate your standpoint that there's certain actions that should happen, and if people are on here that are minors, then I retract every statement because I got 3 little girls of my own. So
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like the public's an internet place. Like the conversations that we have in here are like framed for adults. But no, at the end of the day, there will always be minors engaging in these spaces. And I mean, it looks like. By the way, guys in the chat, stop saying if you're a minor. I don't think that's good. We shouldn't just have a public forum where all of a sudden everybody knows where to find like minors. Like, stop saying that in the chat. But the fact of what I am saying, don't identify yourself if you're a minor, please. But there is a lot of minors watching the live. And, I mean, like public exposures to minors. I mean, that's a pretty like serious thing, right? Like if somebody went like publicly streaking across like a stage in front of like a high school or middle school, you'd probably want them to go to jail.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Right.
I didn't realize that people I don't allow my kids to be on this app, and if I won't allow them until they're a certain age. So I assumed based off, I do post a lot on here, and there are certain user requirements, like you can't be underage. So I didn't realize, and that's just my ignorance to this platform. And I apologize. I can see a lot of people have hate for me on that. I did not mean, I'm being very respectful. I hope everyone understands that. I just don't want to see anyone's life being ruined because of one thing. Now I'm being told that it's been multiple times. I apologize. This is the first time you came up on my For You page, and I was like, whoa, this sounds like an interesting conversation. Would love dialogue. That's bottom line. That's it.
And also, according to a couple people in the chat, apparently I said something backwards. I don't know what I said backwards, but like, hopefully I didn't say anything like wildly incorrect or crazy. But yeah, anyways, bro, I guess we're going to move on to the next guest. Have a good one.
Hey, thank you for your time, brother.
Yeah. Damn, bro, look at that. A MAGA man taking accountability for like being wrong. Wow. Impressive. Very impressive. Okay. All right. We're going to go and move on to our next guest, you guys. If you are MAGA and you'd like to come up here and have a conversation, you said that the public is internet. The public is an internet space. The internet is a public space. I do that a lot. Like also the argument about January 6th and like DJ Rodriguez. What do I say? I'm like, you drove a cop into the neck of a stun gun or some shit like that. Dude, I'm always saying shit backwards, man. Honestly, like, you guys would be surprised by how bad I am at speaking in like private interpersonal circles, like with my friends or girlfriend, etc. And it just takes like 100% brain power while I'm on live to have like cogent speech. What is going on? Do you support Trump?
Hell no.
Base. Well, we are only looking to debate Trump supporters, so we're gonna get that next guest up here right now. We got Zach loading into the live, and oh my God, Mr. Chris with the $50 donation over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. Sorry, not even Chris. Sorry, Jimmy. Jimmy with a $50 donation on Venmo. Jimmy says, Dean, you have all cult clowns running scared. Love it. Dude, Jimmy, thank you so much for the $50 donation. Everybody, please show some love to Jimmy down below in those chats. I want to see at least 1,000 W Jimmys. And then also Winnie with the $100 YouTube super chat. Base, dude. Holy shit. Winnie says, please take good care of yourself. We need you in the long run. Yeah, I'm actually feeling better today than most, which is good. That's a good thing. But thank you so much for the $100, Winnie. That is seriously fucking insane. I do not deserve that at all, guys. Please show some love to Winnie and Jimmy and all of the live chats. Thank you guys so much. You guys are so incredibly kind. All right, everybody. Zach, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mr. Zach, why is that?
Well, I have a few stances on it, but first I want to ask, do you know Charlie Kirk?
I do know Charlie Kirk.
Would you ever debate against him?
I've already debated against him, and I will be debating against him more on April 22nd.
Wait, is there a video on it?
Yes, there is. There's a video of me debating Charlie Kirk on abortion on his Jubilee episode. He ended up leaving that conversation saying that I gave him one of the best arguments he's ever heard. And then he went on the George Jankos podcast and said that he thinks I'm incredibly intelligent and good at debating, and that he thinks I will be conservative in my future.
That's pretty good. I was always wondering that because I watched you live once before. But no, I support Trump because I like his stance on removing illegal immigrants, and I mean illegal, not legal ones, illegal ones. I don't like the fact that the illegal ones that are getting caught, I mean, obviously there's crime everywhere. There's crime with white people, there's crime with colored people, there's crime with everything. But just recently, and I don't know if it's just the media posting it, but the media posts a lot of illegal, undocumented immigrants are committing crimes. So I like his stance on that. I like his stance on...
Wait, 1 second. Did you say colored people?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we don't use that term. So that term kind of like originates from like very similar sources to the N-word. In a similar sense, it has been used to like perpetuate like racial oppression. Like specifically,
I was trying to stay
like
away
during
from that.
like,
I didn't want to say like
Jim like Crow law era segregation. Like they'd label the spaces as colored and non-colored. So I mean, it is like very, very, very derogatory. Like preferably, like you could just say people of color. I mean,
okay, well it was backwards then, but I didn't want to say a different word and make it sound racist. But anyway, so there's a bunch of those, and I just like his stance on getting the illegals out of here.
Okay, all right. All right. So I disagree with mass deportation. I think that it is incredibly, incredibly bad. I think it's bad for humanitarian concerns. I mean, he's deporting individuals without due process and putting innocent legal migrants in El Salvadorian jail cells. Then I also think that it's bad for the economy. It decreases average qualities of lives. It removes millions of people from our labor force. It costs $1 trillion over 10 years, and that doesn't even account for expected GDP growth. If we were to instead offer every undocumented migrant in our country that has not committed a violent crime a pathway to residency or citizenship, that would lead to significantly better humanitarian outcomes and economic outcomes, meaning that I think it's a much better plan.
So you agree with illegal immigrants being in the country?
Well, I mean, if they were offered a pathway to naturalization or mass amnesty, they'd no longer be undocumented, meaning that there wouldn't be undocumented migrants in the country.
But you said you don't agree with mass deportation, so you'd rather have them be here even though they're not trying to get go through the process to be a citizen.
Well, I mean, that's just the thing. Like one of the reasons that they'd be here is because they'd be here working on a pathway to residency or citizenship that is expedited, free, and fast.
Well, yeah, I think that system's messed up because I actually worked with a Mexican guy, and I don't anymore. But he like tried to go through the process.
What a crazy opener. Go ahead.
He tried to go through the process, and every time he went to start it, he just didn't because of all how much it costs and how long it takes. So he never did.
So
But
you worked with an undocumented migrant from Mexico that never achieved citizenship or residency because of how bad the legal means of entry into America was. Yep, that is why undocumented entry into America exists in the first place. The root cause of undocumented entry is the fact that the legal means of entry have been neglected by our Congress for all of modern American history, take way too long, and are way too expensive. If we want to reduce undocumented entry into America in the long term, right? Border Patrol's not going to do it. A wall's not going to do it. Like fucking deploying troops is not going to do it. We need to address the root cause. That root cause being neglected legal means of entry, and that is a like far left perspective. I mean, not even the liberals are really doing that.
bro, these comments are crazy. I'm not a racist for one. I actually have a bunch of ethnicity friends. I have Polish friends. I have Mexican friends. I have so many different friends that I'm not a racist. I actually like other races because I actually find it interesting that they have different languages and different customs and different foods. So I'm not a racist, but just because I said one word backwards, y'all can say what you want. But
Did you say Polish?
yeah, Polish people, like they're from Poland.
Okay. So Polish isn't a race.
Okay, well, whatever you want to call it, they're from Poland.
It's a nationality.
Well, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I'm not a racist, and I don't really care what the comments say because y'all are on the same app we are.
Dude, just like about this, oh man, what a crazy place we're in here today. If you're, he just left. I was being like so kind to him, like, dude, I was being like so kind to him. You know what I mean? He just left. He couldn't take it from the comment section. All right. Good riddance. We're gonna get that next guest up in here, guys. If you're MAGA, go ahead and hop in that queue. We're gonna get you up here for a conversation. We got King Duffy loading in. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes, 1 second.
All right, you give me 1 second. Ari, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. I do really appreciate you so much for the love, Ari. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Ari. Thank you. And then also Ken with the $20 over on Venmo. Let's get at least 200 W's for Ken. Ken says, it's always
How's it going?
a great day speaking truth. It's going all right. Give me 1 moment, man. For real. Thank you so much, Ken. Then Destiny with the $10 over on Venmo. And we have a couple people to catch up with here over on PayPal. So if you guys would just give me 1 moment, that would be phenomenal. Marissa, thank you so much for the $25 donation over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Marissa. And then Stephanie with a 5, Divine with a 2, and then Kana with the $30 on PayPal. Thank you for the love, Kana, dude. 300 W's for Kana. That is Kanna. Thank you so much. And then Megan with a 10 and Christina with the 25. Shout out to Megan, Christina, Kana,
Holy
Divine,
shit,
Stephanie,
dude,
and
they keep
Marissa.
sending them.
They sure do. I'm very grateful for every single one of you guys, and I appreciate everyone so much for the love. You guys are being so incredibly generous
Donald
today.
Trump, some would say, is a savior. Okay, savior of this country.
Okay, are you trolling? Because we're only here to talk to people that actually
No,
support
I'm
him.
not trolling.
Prove it.
How do you want me to prove it?
By continuing to give your argument, that'll just make a judgment
Well-
if you're a troll or not.
Donald Trump, in the first place, is the greatest president this country has ever seen. Okay,
And
and on top of that, Donald Trump is, some would say, is the savior of this country.
Okay, real quick. So, like, the best president our country's ever had probably has some damn good accomplishments under their belt. So, what are one of these damn good accomplishments of Trump?
He has his own golf course. It's amazing. It's amazing, wouldn't you say?
Quite frankly, hit the road. Okay.
Hit the-
Quite frankly, hit the road. Quite frankly, get out of here. We're gonna move on to the next guys. Just give us a moment. What's up? What's your name?
Yo, I'm here to do my Trump impression.
Sorry. No, you don't. You don't get a chance. Shoelace with a $5 on YouTube Super Chat and Venus with a 5, guys. Thank you so much. If you want to support me, by the way, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in the bio here on TikTok. I get 100% of those proceeds. You get a shout out. And if we have an opportunity, I always try to read out loud the messages that we get over there, but I always do read them to myself. Every single time I always do read them to myself. You can also support me on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, I'd recommend first supporting me on Venmo or PayPal, because I learned last week that YouTube takes 30 to 60% of the super chats. Meanwhile, they take nothing off the Venmo and the PayPal. But let's get that next guest up here. We got David loading in. If you're in that queue, make sure that you support Trump. If you just want to come up here and debate, go ahead and spam maggots down below in that chat. We're going to get that next guest up in here. All right. What is going on, Mr. Mike? Hello, Mr. Mike.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, dude, not that much, Mr. Mike. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Mr. Mike, how could you?
I mean, look what he's already doing. He's bringing us back to being great again.
Oh, yeah, like the Great Depression, that great.
What, are you worried about
the Great
current
Depression,
market right now?
yeah, sorry, God.
Are you worried about the current market conditions? Is that
Fuck
what you're
yeah,
worried about?
dude, I'm worried about the current market conditions. Global markets have just been down since this guy announced his Liberation Day tariffs. Now, a couple days later, he's like, oh, fuck, I made an oopsie. I better reverse these. So now we're seeing a little bit of a rebound, but now we have like over 100% tariffs on China. Nobody has a single fucking clue what's going on. And JP Morgan and the Atlantic Fed are now projecting a recession this year. Dude, it is fucked, Mr. Mike.
I hear you, but I mean, you know what he's trying to do in the long term here, right?
Actually, surprisingly, I don't have a single fucking clue.
Okay, I mean, let's say he went about it a different way. Let's say he just talked to these other countries and just asked, hey, do you mind just lessening your tariffs? How do you think that would go?
Well, I think it'd go well. In fact, he did this under his first administration with Canada and Mexico with the USMCA, which was literally talks between the countries to lessen the tariffs. And even Donald Trump successfully brokered a trade agreement. And I mean, like, this happens all the time. Like, we also had the TPP, which was another trade agreement with like 12 countries. He actually pulled us out of that. Like, diplomatic behaviors to negotiate free trade, it's always a good thing for like all countries involved. And we have a lot of leverage as the most powerful and rich country on the face of this earth to achieve those trade agreements. I mean, they're pretty successful.
We do, and that's what he's doing. He's using that leverage to balance everything out.
So then why is he putting like a 90-day stay on all of his tariffs? Is it just the art of the deal?
90-day pause?
Is that just the art of the deal, man?
Yeah, no, he's doing them a favor because they didn't reciprocate his tariffs.
So he's doing Americans a favor because he bankrupted 401ks and pensions, and people are pissed, and his approval rating's going down, so he's putting that pause. Now, I'd also just love to point out here that not all of the tariffs he implemented were reciprocal. In fact, none were. Like, Canada doesn't charge us $1 or a dime in tariffs, and he still, put the pedal to the metal on them. Like, why the fuck did he do that?
You know how much we subsidize them, right?
No, I actually don't.
I can't pull the numbers off the top of my head, but it's quite a bit. I can pull it up
What
if
do
you
we
want me to go
subsidize
into the
them for?
numbers. Huh?
What do we subsidize them for?
I mean, just helping them out as a country. I mean, overall.
So, like, for what specifically? What are the subsidies?
I'd have to pull it up, man. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Bro, hey, listen, are you talking about a trade deficit?
No, I'm just... Here, let me pull it up, man. Hold on. Give me a second.
All right, buddy. While you do that, I'm going to thank a couple donors. Tam, thank you so much for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying, I'm in social work and government class on Monday, and we were discussing the tariffs, and my professor said that her retirement age went from a few years from now to 98. Fuck this guy. Yeah, Tam. Well, I mean, like, hopefully things, like, rebound. I think that they will if he kind of takes the gas off the pedal, which is seemingly what he's doing. I mean, he's a populist, and he wants people to support and praise him, and obviously people are not doing that right now, so he's going to back off, which is good. Ashlyn, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Then Sydney, thank you so much for the $10 as well. Everybody, please show some love to Sydney and Ashlyn. Sydney says, got laid off recently, so be mindful with how much I could pitch. Don't feel like you got to pitch anything, Sydney. That's so incredibly kind of you. She says, love what you are doing. Please make sure you take care of yourself these days. You know what? Actually, I am. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing better than I have before, but thank you guys so much. So I don't really know what Mr. Mike down here is looking for. We're going to go and just bring somebody else up to debate me in the meantime while he's looking for like nothing. We got Living for Swag loading up into that box, and Did I say gas off the pedal? Pedal off the gas. Sorry, you guys. And if you are one of the 7.6 thousand people just kind of tuning in, listening to the stream, guys, make sure that you're double tapping for me. Make sure that you're sharing the stream out with a couple friends. And most importantly, make sure that you're letting me know if you're MAGA Temple in that comment section so we can get you up here for a debate. What is going on? Do you support Trump? I did not mean to do that. I don't. I don't want anything to happen, so I'm just gonna kick him. I accidentally put him on the big screen. He had to turn his camera on. I kicked him out rather quickly. Whoops. Somebody in the comment section said that I'm dyslexic as fuck. So I actually am a little bit. Fun fact about Dean. That's neither here nor there. What's going on, Russia? Do you support Trump?
Oh, no, I did not want to come on. Sorry.
No worries. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just go ahead and give us a minute. We got Trey loading up into the box. Everyone, just go ahead and give us one moment. All right. What's going on, Trey? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Oh, no. Trey. More
Well,
like...
Trump-
Wait. Trey? More like Traitor.
Why do you say that?
Because you're a traitor to this country, Trey. You
How?
voted for the villain.
I think it's great. What's going on?
Okay, now you actually are a traitor. Intentional crashes, intentional drops in the stock market, barreling towards a recession. Never been better, right?
Yeah, I got stocks. Yeah, they go up and down all the time.
Oh, they go up and down all the time. You know what? That's right. The stock market does go up and down. But let me ask you a question. Do you like it when it goes down?
No.
No. So you'd like it if we could prevent the market from going down.
Is that all this is about? Is it going down for what? It's been like a week now?
Can we, Trey, just answer my question. So you'd like it if we could prevent the market from going down, right?
Of course.
So we could have prevented the market from going down by voting for Kamala Harris.
No.
So which one of her economic policies?
I've always been independent.
Wait, Trey, just real quick. Which one of her economic policies would have made the market go down? Because we know which one of Trump's will/is.
That's not like, dude, there's a bigger picture. It's not all about the stock market.
Got it. All right, so what's it about? Tell us why you support Trump.
Why I support Trump? Well, I'm considered middle class, and I mean, it all really depends on where you stand in this world. Like, I support Trump for many reasons. Like, it's not just one.
Trump supporters are good at one thing, and that's at saying so much while saying nothing at all. Do we need like a third person on the... Well, he just left.
Hey, I'm still here. I could not find what I was looking for, so I could be wrong about that. Take accountability there.
Great, Mike. So then why did we put tariffs on Canada?
Well, I mean, we put a pause on all of them, right?
He backtracked because he made an oopsie doopsie. He realized he was wrong.
No, that's not the reason.
Oh, dude! MAGA quotas or something else.
Do you want to know the real reason?
Yeah.
It's because they didn't retaliate, like I already said. Why did he increase the tariffs on China? Why did he pause everybody else but not do it to them?
Because he's a senile narcissist. That's
No,
why.
because they didn't.
Okay. In one sentence, you know what? 5 sentences or less. Tell me why he imposed tariffs on China, revoked tariffs on... Oh, wait, sorry. Tell me why he imposed... I didn't mean China, I meant Canada. Tell me why he imposed tariffs on Canada, revoked tariffs on Canada, reimposed tariffs on Canada, revoked tariffs on Canada, reimposed tariffs on Canada, and has now put a 90-day stay on them. Tell me why he's done that.
It's the back and forth. What are you doing, Brittany?
Explain the art of the deal to me, please, sir. Mike,
Hold
I'm
on,
losing
sorry,
you here.
my wife just came in here blasting some music. What was that?
So explain the art of the deal behind him, like imposing and then pausing tariffs on Canada like 5 times. Explain the art of the deal. Why has he done this, Mike?
It's the back and forth in negotiations.
What has he
Keep
negotiated
it
with
simple.
Canada, Mike?
I mean, I'm not there in the meeting, so I couldn't tell you exactly.
No fucking
But
clue,
they're
Mike.
trying
Well,
to.
how
bring
about
the-
you tell me vaguely?
Well, I'll tell you, they're trying to bring the tariffs to an even playing level.
Oh, but
Well, I
they
mean,
don't tariff us though, Mike.
If your buddy
They stop it, because Canada doesn't fucking tariff us, Mr. Mike.
Okay, fair enough. But everybody else.
Why is he doing it to Canada, Mike?
I mean, you know why for everybody else, right?
We could talk about countries outside of Canada after you tell me why he's
I
tariffing
mean,
Canada.
I can't find. I mean, we are definitely helping them out in a lot of ways, and that's why I can't find what I was looking for earlier, man. I can't.
Wait, so we were helping Canada, so therefore he gets to hurt Canada and us? I'm not following the logic, Mike. How about we talk about something other than tariffs? This conversation isn't going well for you, Mike.
How's it not going well for me? You just specifically pointed in on one country when I had a valid reason for all the others.
All right, fine. Let's go out to the macro level. Even so he reported reciprocal quote unquote tariffs on 170 countries. And it is the case that the tariffs that he reported that are coming from these countries to America are false. So what he reported as their tariffs on us was actually just our trade deficit with that country divided by our exports to them, which is not a tariff. So yeah, he lied, Mike.
I mean, I don't think that's true. I mean, I could pull up the tariffs that each country has on us right now.
If you pull up the tariffs that other countries have on us from the World Trade Organization, which is where you
Right.
find that information, it will dispute and refute and disprove the tariffs that Donald Trump reported these other countries had on us. Then also, I want to make it clear that I don't think imposing tariffs on other countries is an effective way of getting them to reduce their tariffs on us. I think that ends up hurting us, hurting them, hurting the world. The better way is to achieve is to take diplomatic means to create trade agreements. Like imagine if your friend had something that you really wanted, and there's two ways of getting it from your friend. You could offer him $20 or put a fucking pew-pew to the back of his head. What's the better option?
No, I hear you. I know what point you're putting down here. But, I mean, that was one reason as to why he did the tariffs. I mean, another reason he wants more production here in America.
Those reasons contradict one another, because if he wants to use the tariffs he's imposing on other countries as leverage to get them to reduce their tariffs on us, that must mean he must be willing to revoke our tariffs on them when they reduce their tariffs on us. Okay? But if he's willing to revoke our tariffs on them, then there's going to be no long-term prosperity in American manufacturing, because the tariff would have to exist in the long term. And if the tariff will exist in the long term, what reasons would other countries have to revoke their tariffs on us? And in fact, this would just give other countries more incentive to add more tariffs to us.
Okay, I mean, I don't have a counter argument for that. There's a fair point there. I don't have a counter argument there.
Quite frankly.
Fair. Okay, you wanted to talk about something besides tariff. Sure. What else you want to talk about?
Anything.
Okay. What about the immigration report? I mean, February of this year compared to February of last year. Do you know the numbers on that?
No, much lower now, though, I'd assume. Yeah, so you said that you like American manufacturing, right?
Correct, I do.
So then you should fucking hate that he wants to deport undocumented migrants, and his first means of identifying them is seeing what undocumented migrants are working in American industries and paying taxes through the IRS.
Right, but I mean, they should come across, legally and pay taxes just like everybody
Let's just
else.
offer them a pathway to residency or citizenship without deporting them, okay? So they could get legal residency, but still be a part of the American labor force. So we could continue to chase this idea of domination on the global stage of American manufacturing dominance. We're obviously
How do you
going to need a
sort
strong
that out?
labor force to do so. And I don't think that forcefully removing millions of people from it, specifically targeting and identifying those that are also paying taxes, is a good way to go about it.
I mean, what would be a better solution on
mass
such
amnesty.
a vast...
Mass amnesty. I mean, that is a better solution. Offering every single undocumented migrant in our country that has not committed prior violent offenses a pathway to residency or citizenship.
And how do you filter those people out?
I mean, the same way that we'd filter individuals out coming to our southern border. I mean, I don't know the specific means of doing so, but I do know that we can do it. We're America, come on. Interpol and other international databases to identify prior violent offenses in other countries with the use of fingerprints, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I hear you. It sounds great, but I mean, I feel like it's harder done than said.
Okay, well then obviously you don't think that we should have legal means of entry into our country, because if you don't think that we should offer somebody that we don't know a pathway to residency or citizenship because we can't determine if they've committed prior violent offenses, well, you understand that individuals that try to legally migrate into America are also people that we don't know trying to attain legal residency or citizenship. So the same issue would apply to legal migration. And if this is a big enough issue to vote against mass amnesty for undocumented migrants, does that mean it's also a big enough issue to terminate all legal entry as well?
It's tough, Dean. Hold on. Process that for another second.
I cut off. Anyways, the fact that you're actually considering this is good. I'm actually really enjoying the guests that are requesting to join my live today. I'd say like a good 8 out of 10 people that have tried to join today have actually been more open to hearing me out. And I just want to let you know, I actually appreciate that.
Yeah, no, man, I try to keep an open mind here. And yeah, no, you bring up some very valid points. And it's hard to counter those, honestly. And yeah, you got to open my mind up a little bit on that issue right there in particular.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, I'll say it too, dude. Like the big political parties, both of them, Republicans and Democrats, and their messaging on immigration is honestly like terrible. And I think it's so bad because it's so propagandized for both parties' perspectives and doesn't really give any real valuable education to the average American. Okay. And the only reason I know that is because even like 4 months ago, I was still very involved in political discourse, very involved in political debate. And I had maybe like a tenth of the understanding of immigration that I do now after taking a special interest in it and doing specific research on the topic. Like, for whatever reason, nobody sees how valuable immigration is to this country enough to the extent of advocating for real, genuine, critical thought on the matter, including Democrats.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, man. Well, sounds like you got me here, man, and there's not really much more I could say here. Sounds like you're very knowledgeable in this particular area. So yeah, man, well, appreciate your time, and yeah, I'll think more about my decisions.
Yeah, have a good one, Mike. Hope you continue
Yeah,
to
you
watch
too.
the stream. Take care,
Yep.
take care. Dude, I'm like really enjoying these guests today. What's going on, bro? What the fuck's going on? Like, people are actually like more reasonable today. Yo, Charlie, you said that you wanted to talk down below in that chat?
Brother, yeah, I want to talk to you. I've got so many problems with what you're saying, man.
Okay, well, you're not from America, so unfortunately, no, quite frankly. Moving on to the next guest, Mr. Randall. Thank you for the $5 over on YouTube Super Chat. Claire with the $5 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you guys so much for the love. You guys are phenomenal. Hey, if you are watching the stream and you enjoy what you see, feel free to donate to me over Venmo and PayPal, link in the bio. Then also Ariana and Rylan with the $5 each over on Venmo. You guys are incredible. What is going on, Miss Jamie? Or I don't know, maybe Mr. Jamie. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
I was right the first time. Okay, real quick. Christina, thank you once again for the $25 over on PayPal. And Mr. Todd with the $15 over on PayPal. Thank you, Todd. Let's fucking go, dude. Huge shout out, Todd. As well as, hopefully, with the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Saying, Dean, my country's Democrat page posted your tariff video on their Facebook Reels. No way, dude. Send me that link over on Discord DMs. But anyways, Jamie, all right, tell us, why do you support Mr. MAGA Man Trump?
I was just gonna comment on the immigration thing.
Real quick, how old are you? Sorry.
I'm 18,
18,
about to be
what
19.
year you born in?
2006.
All right, I believe it. Take it away.
Okay, so what I don't understand is if they came in illegally,
Yeah.
that's a crime, right?
I don't know. I'm not going to, I should probably do more research on this because everybody always says that. And I always say the same thing, that I haven't done research on it. It's either a misdemeanor or a crime. I don't mind assuming it's a crime for intents and purposes, but Eldine for like never taking 5 seconds to literally look it up on Google.
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay. I was just wondering, like, if it is a crime to come in illegally, why should they be able to stay here because they have committed a crime? And
You don't care about crime? Come on.
yeah, I do. I
If you think a criminal
One,
should be able to stay in the White House, why shouldn't a criminal be able to stay in a regular house? How about that?
okay, I don't agree with everything Trump has done. I just
So, but you
support
still
things.
think, he should be able to stay in the country because overall you think that he provides a net benefit. Now that's disputable, of course. That's why I'm here. But I mean, think about it. Imagine that undocumented entry into America is not a civil offense. Imagine it's not a misdemeanor. It's a straight up crime. Okay. Therefore, why don't I just hold to the same exact position that they should still be able to stay in America and be offered a pathway to residency or citizenship because they provide a net benefit to this country? Not to mention, I think a lot of the culpability for undocumented entry into our country doesn't fall on the migrants, but falls on our government for creating an environment in which the migrants have more incentive to enter with the use of undocumented means because the legal means are so shit.
True. I don't know a lot about it. I just is it hard to I know it's hard to get in. They should make it easier for people to get in our country and not make it so hard. But I don't know. I was just commenting on the part where I don't see how it's fair that they can stay in our country, not pay taxes, and then y'all say they can just stay here and whatever. But
Got a question. So you're right. Undocumented migrants don't pay taxes. That's unironic Democrat propaganda. You know, I'm more of an independent myself. I kind of sit in the middle. A lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats, they will say that they do pay taxes. I mean, that's just not true. I mean, look at this. You even got a lot of people in my YouTube chat, in my TikTok chat saying that they do pay taxes. Yeah, it's just not true, man. But I just want to ask you a question. If they were to magically start paying taxes, I don't know, let's just assume a rough number, $100 billion per year. Would you be okay with them being offered a pathway to residency or citizenship?
yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? You're officially libbed out. They do pay $100 billion per year in taxes, and I just lied to you.
Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to get educated. I don't know a lot of things, and so that's why I like to ask questions and all.
So you are okay with mass amnesty now?
I don't know what that is. I'm just
Offering
saying.
undocumented migrants a pathway to residency or citizenship. Yeah, I mean, you just said you'd be okay with it if they paid $100 billion per year in taxes. So they do pay $100 billion per year in taxes.
I don't know. I was just asking one question. We're going down 100 different paths.
Hey, is there a reason you voted for Trump? I appreciate you for your question, and I hope that you consider my responses there. But maybe you could tell us a reason why you support him.
I support him because he says he's going to make our country more affordable. I know you don't agree with this, but I don't think abortion's right because that is someone's right.
I was waiting for that one. Can we actually talk about that?
Yeah, you can.
I'd love to talk about abortion with you. Before I do, let me just go ahead and check my Venmo, my PayPal to see if there's anybody that I missed. I want to make sure that I never miss a single soul. Jen, thank you for the $2 over on Venmo. And Ashley, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo as well. Thank you, Jen and Ashley. Everybody, please show some love to Jen and Ashley down below, literally right now. All right. Anyways, abortion. So do you think that elective lethal abortions are wrong?
Lethal, when they inject, what is that? I don't know a lot about abortion.
What are you asking me what lethal means? It just means they kill the fetus.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's right because I think that is another human.
Right.
And that is going to be someone and they could do great things in life for our world also.
Yeah, it's just like a human that could be like you or I in the future. I mean, well, that position's pretty easy to debunk. I mean, there's millions. Does she leave? Come on, bro. Come on, dude. Oh my God. I really wanted to talk to her. That's so unfortunate, man. I was looking forward to having a discussion with her about her thoughts, but she had to leave. Hello, Shan. Shan 515, what's going on? Shan? No, she's leaving. I feel like Shan's a Trump supporter too. I mean, unfortunate, dude. Come on, Shan. Unfortunate. We're going to get that next guest up in here. Y'all, if you're one of the 7,000 people watching the stream, we have an army of people in here. I would really appreciate it if every single one of you guys could start double tapping away on that phone screen literally right now. Let's get up to 1 million likes, and it would really help the send out of the live. Also, Parker was supposed to be joining us a while ago. I don't know where he is. What's going on, Haley? Do you support Trump?
know how I joined up here. I am so sorry.
Don't worry about it, Emma. Hilly, do you support Trump? Doesn't look like Hilly's here. We're gonna get Mr. Tryhard up in the live. Mr. Tryhard is joining. Yo, what's going on, Mr. Tryhard? I try harder at
What's up?
debate, and
What's
that's
up,
why you're
man?
about to lose.
What's that?
Don't worry about it. Do you support Trump?
Do I support Trump? Nah, man. Like I feel like Trump is two people at one time. You know what I'm saying? His whole mantra has changed.
We're only looking for Trump supporters. Big W's in the chat, though. Big W's in the chat, though. Moving on to the next guest. We got Patrick loading up. Everyone, here we go. What's up, Patrick? Do you support Trump?
I'm kind of like in the middle here.
I always think that it is so fucking funny when children will come up here and like say that they don't know yet. They're kind of in the middle. They're really split. They need to know a little. It's always so funny to hear that. I don't know why. There's just something just like there's such like a high level of comedic value there. You know, like a literal fetus being like, well, I should do a comparative advantage of the policy of each candidate. I'm kind of in the middle, peculiarly today. Anyways, what's up, Mr. Mike? Do you support Trump?
I mean, I voted for him. Whether I support him or not, I'll answer that in 2 or 3 years. We'll see what happens with the tariffs.
So you're just kind of at a state of suspended judgment right now?
I mean, if I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, today was a huge day in the stock market.
Why? Why did stocks go up?
Why did stocks go up? They went up because the tariffs got halted.
So they went up because Donald Trump's plan went to the shitter. Wow.
From what I understand, it sounds like people are trying to make deals. Countries are trying to make deals.
Make deals. Okay, I have a question. What does Donald Trump want from Canada?
I don't know what he wants from Canada. He wants a better trade deal is what he wants.
What needs to be better about the trade deal that we did have with him that he negotiated under his first administration?
That's beyond my expertise.
So then don't just like blatantly believe the propaganda. Like you understand that like there's just like this absolute not smart guy running our government right now. This old narcissist that's just kind of doing whatever the hell that he wants. And then there's like this institution of Republicans and MAGA that are propped up by billions of dollars and connections in mainstream media that then have to turn around and do damage control and try and convince you, the average American, that there's some good reason behind his actions. Meanwhile, he's just a crazy, deluded old guy.
I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens in a few years.
Right.
If shit goes well.
Appreciate you for coming up. We're going to find somebody that currently does support him. Appreciate you, though. Moving on to the next guest, everyone. Let's go and get them up here. Everyone just going to give us a moment. We got Roger that cap loading in. Here we go, everyone. We got them loading up. And oh my God, Christina, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Christina asked me to please not read her comment on live. I will not do that, Christina. But seriously, thank you so much for the $50. That is so incredibly kind and generous of you. Could we please get 1,000 Christina W's for the most unreal kindness ever? Thank you so much for the love, Christina. Then also Thomas, thank you for the 5, and Brittany with a 10, Greg with a 10, and Hannah with a 1. You guys are all so phenomenal. Thank you so much. And what is going on, Roger? Do you support Trump? I guess thanks for waiting for that. Very, very patient and kind of you. Very patient and kind of you, bro. Okay, all right, moving on. What's going on, dude? What's going on, man? Dude, what's going on? Why are we having such a difficult time getting some debates
Hello?
going? Hey, what's going on? Do you support Trump?
I do not.
Quite frankly, goodbye. All right, we're only looking to debate Trump supporters. We may have to recenter our efforts here. One really easy way to do that is I'm just going to ask you guys to drop a MAGA in the comment section if you support Trump, and I'll get you up here. Miranda, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo, saying that this live is cracking you up. Yeah, I gotta say, these lives can be funny at times. Thank you for the $15, Miranda. Everybody, show some love to Miranda in that chat. What's up, Liam? Do you support Trump?
Yes. How are these recorded?
Yes, they are.
How do you play it back?
On YouTube.
He has a YouTube chat.
Aaliyah, do you support Trump?
I do.
How old are you?
Unfortunately,
Wait.
I was born in 2006, but my birthday is December 1st. I do support him, but I was not able to vote for him, but I can still make some arguments, if
So,
that's okay.
so you're 18 though, right?
Yeah. Correct, because I was born, yes, 2006.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, Liam and Aaliyah, take it away. Make an argument.
Do you want to go first?
I'll let you.
All right. So I support Trump. Well, I would have voted for him. My whole family does and supported him. But I do because I'm a Christian and I feel like not only Trump, but his.
One
What the
second. I'm so
heck?
sorry to cut you off. Liam, did you just take a screenshot of the live?
Yeah, why?
Are you gonna print that and frame it?
No.
Yes, you are.
What?
Keep talking your shit, Aaliyah.
I'm sorry. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Anyway.
Damn.
Um.
Damn. That's right, Liam. Aaliyah just had to say about you?
What did she say? It cut out.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, I support him because I feel like not only I know he's not a Christian and I know he's definitely not a Christian. Yeah. But his cabinet and just his administration I feel like is filled with better people who will have those values in mind. But I understand that he is not one himself. But I definitely don't agree with abortion, which is the main reason why I genuinely do not support Kamala Harris, because her running mate, Tim Walz, shot down a bill in his state for to make it illegal to kill failed abortions. Do you know what I'm referring to?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even really listening, and that's my fault. Okay, I want to make that
Okay,
clear.
I'm
That's
sorry.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry
don't
if I'm
apologize. That's my fault. See, I was too busy reading
I
your
zone
YouTube
out a
chat.
lot too. I'm sorry.
But let's have a conversation about abortion. Before we do, I'd really like to thank Ask Yourself for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. About abortion, you said that's one of the main reasons you support him, because you don't support abortion. Go
Okay.
ahead and tell us every reason why you think elective lethal abortions are wrong, while I absolutely kill this Uncrustable.
Yeah, for sure. So elective, can you define your term by that?
Of
Like, what do you
course.
mean by elective?
I'll give you an example. An elective abortion is essentially an abortion outside of a medical necessity, outside of sex, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, and outside of rape. Okay, just when an adult man and a woman engage in
So,
intercourse, the
yeah,
woman consents to it, knows that she could get pregnant, she does get pregnant, and she just doesn't want a kid.
So you're asking me why I think that's wrong? So we're not talking about the, incest, blah, 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 that,
I mean, just to
right?
agree, you do think that rape victims should be able to get abortion, right, Aaliyah?
I don't, because I don't think two wrongs make a right.
So
Because
we'll talk
I
about that
don't,
first. Tell me why
right.
you don't think a grape victim should be able to get abortions while I eat this Uncrustable, I guess.
Right.
So
So,
gross. I don't even want to eat the Uncrustable anymore. Take it away.
oh my God. So I don't think that two wrongs make a right. I think that rape is a disgusting thing that needs to be treated with the death penalty. And I think that the baby should get a chance to live because it had no part in the rape. And I also think that the mother should be cared for and helped throughout the whole thing. I know it can be very traumatic, but when you're already pregnant, there's nothing you can do to unmake her pregnant.
Well,
Well, I know that abortion would, but you're eventually going to have the baby, So I feel like, does the time between her not being pregnant, let's just say, I don't know, when she would get an abortion, 16 weeks, before 20 weeks, let's just say it's before 20 weeks.
do you mind if I
Does
hop in here
that
now?
I'm sorry?
Do you mind if I hop in here now?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So first of all, you said that rapists should get the death penalty, right?
For sure.
Yeah, you don't think you're well. I need to find a way to say this. They're much more sensitive about me saying this about political figures, but
Yeah.
under your view, the big guy up top shouldn't be here. He was adjudicated
Um,
inside of a civil court for rape.
yes, I believe in due process.
But I wanna have that conversation after I dispute your
guys
claim about
know.
rape victims getting abortion. Is that fair?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, but like I just keep that in
I'm
mind.
sorry also if I'm rambling.
No, Aaliyah,
I'm
you're good.
sick, so I don't,
You're
you
good.
know.
Also,
just need to
also
talk.
Parker, I tried to accept you up, and I did, and then you just automatically cut out. So, anyways, about rape victims getting
Parker.
abortion. So, you can actually be pro-life and think that rape victims get abortion for the following reason. So,
Yeah,
for
go
this argument, I'm going to assume that the fetus has the right to life and is just as morally valuable as you or I. Okay?
Right.
All right, right. So here's the deal. Let me ask you a question. If you made just enough money to sustain yourself, to buy food, to feed yourself, and every single night somebody broke into your house and stole half of your food, okay? And and you know they're going to do this for the next 9 months, and there's even a 5 to 10% chance that them stealing your food for the next 9 months will end in your death, okay, from your own starvation. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that you'd be doing anything wrong by locking your front door at night, which would prevent them from stealing your food, but it would also lead to their death via starvation?
Okay, okay, so you're saying if someone broke into someone's right. So when you break into someone's house, that's like a choice, and the baby is like kind of just there, like did not have a choice like at all. Like it's just there trying to survive. It's there and it's natural. Like that's just how biology works. It's how humans, it's how life works. The baby has to start out in utero and then grow and grow and grow and grow until it's viable to be born. It has no like it doesn't, it can't help it. Like, you know, I feel like
So let me
that's
get
different.
this clear. So what if
You know?
So what if the person breaking into your house every night couldn't help it?
I'm confused on how that would even happen. Like,
Sure. I could give you. I mean, this is like now
I
the
know
analogy.
it's a
just allow
hypothetical,
me to
but I'm
finish.
trying to process that.
Sure. Like this hypothetical is about to get a lot more arbitrary, but I promise that it's still like valid in a logical
But
sense.
I'm also just making an
Leah,
argument as
do you
well
mind if you
for
let me
how
finish?
biology. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so like the hypothetical I'm about to give to you is going to get a little bit more like drawn out. It's going to seem a little bit more arbitrary, a little bit more out there, but like this is still a consistent position to test your logic. Every single night, there is a sleepwalker that breaks into your house and steals half your food to feed themselves. Okay, they're going to do this for the next 9 months. You know that this is going to severely decrease the quality of your life by a lot, and there's even a 5 to 10% chance it'll kill you via starvation. Do you think it should be illegal for you to lock your front door at night to prevent the sleepwalker from stealing your food, even if this sleepwalker dies as a result?
No, that should not be illegal for me to lock my door, but that
In
also
other words, what you're saying is that you agree that you are under no obligation to provide the resources to help keep you alive to other people. Okay? Right? And this is exactly what I would
Right.
say about a woman that gets raped and gets an abortion. She is under no obligation to provide her bodily resources to the fetus. Okay? And thereby, her metaphorically locking her front door at night by revoking those bodily resources from being used by the fetus is not wrong, even if it results in the death of the fetus.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Using your hypothetical, is it okay if I walk out and shoot that person in the head?
Is it okay if you walk out and shoot that person in the head?
Like you said, they're breaking into my house.
No,
So-
you could only
so-
take the least restrictive means to prevent them from stealing your food. Okay, and I think that the same thing
So
is true.
intentionally killing them versus cutting off like access. Is
So
that
you
what
think that
you're
you should
trying?
be able to cut off access, right?
Well, no, that's what you're saying. I'm saying it's not okay to intentionally go and shoot them in the head.
But it is okay to cut off access if it unintentionally results in their death.
What does cutting off access mean in your terms if you're using
I mean, the
abortion?
best example would be the abortion pill that literally just stops
Abortion pill.
supplying a bodily resources from the mother to the fetus.
Right. So even though I do still
Is that
think
wrong?
I think it is wrong again because we're talking about human life and it's also the fact that
Wait,
the
the
baby
person that's
cannot help. Yeah, I understand. I
the
understand.
sleepwalker can't help it, and the sleepwalker is a human life.
Yeah, I understand. This is so I'm gonna say this. I have thought about this a lot. And one thing that I have I've argued with myself in my head, oh hi Parker. Um, I have come to the conclusion that I know it's never okay to intentionally end a human life.
No, you don't believe
even
that.
with
I've seen your
yeah,
reposts.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see the reposts. Parker get a
Okay.
job mentality.
Yes, because I like you guys, but I'm also a Trump supporter. I
believe
I
her.
also
I believe her. I don't know why I do, but I do.
No, seriously, I respect you guys. I really want to see you
You
guys.
also have you reposted she get banned?
Yeah, she got banned.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
I believed her. I don't know why. I thought that she was being genuine about what she actually believed. Anyways, welcome up, Parker. Hope that you're doing well today, man. We're gonna go ahead.
That's good.
We've actually had a pretty successful day, dude. We got somebody came up and did some bad things earlier, but we just restarted the stream, didn't skip a beat, and now we're back. Guys, if you voted for Trump and you want to come up and debate, go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that chat. By the way, also something I did that I think has prevented a ban is I went into the live replay and I deleted it.
Hey, what's
I
up?
don't think that works. I've tried that before.
What's going on, Jackson? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, before
I'm
we
actually
get into our discussion, I do have a couple people to thank. Mr. Logan, thank you so much for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Logan says, thanks for all that you do, Dean. I was wondering, as a debater, what would you recommend to somebody that wants to get into the same field as you? Joining smaller debate lives on TikTok and getting experience is the best way to get into the same field. Great question, and thank you so much for the $10 donation. Thank you, Logan. And then also, Jada, thank you for the $2 on PayPal. And oh my God, Faith with the $30 on Venmo, and Erica with the $50 on Venmo. Oh my God. I want everybody to show some love to Faith and Erica down below in that live chat for the insane donations. That is ERICA and then Faith. Guys, thank you so much for the love, as well as the two message. Faith asked if I've ever played Red Dead 2. I've not, but I am familiar with the game.
I have.
Erica says, love the way you wave around the Uncrustable. I'm a hungry man. What can I say? And that I've taken over her earbuds for a month now, dude. Thank you so much for the love, Erica and Faith. You guys are fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. Everybody, please show some insane love to Erica and Faith down below in that chat right the fuck now. Also, Thomas and then Jada both with the $5, guys. Thank you so much. Mr. Jackson, take it away. Tell us why you support Mr. Magaman Liberation Day, Donald J. Trump.
First of all, I'm just excited to be able to talk to you guys. I mean, even though I disagree with you guys, I've seen you guys all over social media, and I respect you guys. You guys are smart. I'm thinking about doing law because I like debating and stuff.
Dude, what's going on with the Trump supporters today? You guys have been pretty chill, and I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Yeah, bro. So I'm 18. I voted for Trump. I'm 2006. I would say a good thing that's happened, which I feel like you guys should probably both agree with, is the illegal border crossings has been down. I know you guys talk about, if you're already here, you should, there should be a path to citizenship. My opinion is you can come in this country, but you have to come in legally. But I think that's a good thing. As far as I'm aware, Trump is the only president in the 21st century for a war not to be started under him. I feel like countries respected Trump. And, well, okay, dude, but here's the thing. He's trying to end the war in Ukraine. He's made efforts to try to end the war. Yes, he has.
Propaganda.
He also has literally destroyed our relations with our allies by literally saying that he wants to annex Canada, right? One of our allies, Panama, Greenland. He wants to own and control Gaza in the long run.
So
These are clearly not anti-war, America first isolationist policies.
Listen,
but you can agree that
so
war
simple.
didn't start under Trump.
We actually had
They did.
So we did. We had the Turkish-Kurdish war, but that's not here nor there. The fact of the matter is, when you tell me
Turkish-Kurdish war, I've never. Has anyone even heard of that?
Well, apparently not you. And a lot of other Americans. Hey, Americans aren't too educated on geopolitical conflicts on the global scale. I mean, there's a lot of America propaganda to kind of contort history. and ignore what's going on in the present day. But the fact of the matter is that's neither here nor there. And the reason that's neither here nor there is very simple. When you give me this argument that like no war started under him, very good at like ending conflicts, etc., you're telling me that basically, you know, we got Jesus 2.0 up there preventing further conflict and doing kumbaya on the global stage.
I never said that.
But I'm being hyperbolic, but the sentiment still exists. This statement, this sentiment, is refuted with one sentence. He isolated America from every other country on the planet by implementing tariffs on every other country on the planet.
But
This
how
has
does
effectively
that?
started
Okay.
an economic war with every other country on the face of this earth, and this doesn't even consider the more military and imperialistic implications that Parker just explained, like wanting to annex Greenland, Panama, or ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip, or give Ukraine to Russia, or pull
Okay, I
out of
want
NATO,
to
the
talk
UN,
about
etc.
this. I want to talk about this so much. Okay, so first of all, I'm not even super pro Israel. I don't. Because I agree. What I think is we need to like. First of all, I what Doge is doing and how it's stopping government waste. I think that's good, and I think
Can I talk about you?
What a
that
pivot.
yeah.
What a
There's so
pivot.
many.
What a
There's so
pivot.
many
What a
things I want
pivot.
to
What
talk
that's
about.
such a pivot.
Wait. Do you want me to talk about like the annex in Greenland and stuff? Okay,
No,
I'll talk
we're
about
just
that.
asking you why you voted for Trump. Then you reiterated some sentiment of being better for global relations, and I debunked that in 2 sentences. So did Parker.
How
And,
did you
and, then,
debate?
and then he
How did
moved.
you
He moved
debunk
on
that,
to
though?
like saying
How did you
Doge
debunk that?
is good for waste. I would love to address the Doge waste point, but after the point where you address Dean's.
Sure, you asked me how I debunked
Right.
that.
So
I'm going to reiterate.
I don't know how
Like,
many. I don't know how
global.
many people.
Donald
Can I?
Trump has.
I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to talk.
Okay, I thought
I
you
don't
asked
know
me a
how
question.
many.
My fault.
I don't know how many people died, but I know like in the war in Ukraine, I think I know it's been hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and the whole point is people say that Trump's he's friends with Russia and stuff, he's friends with Putin, but the whole idea is we got to end this war now, because if we keep funding Ukraine, hundreds of thousands of more men are going to die, because this is a war that in the long run, I think it's a war of attrition. Russia just has more men. And I don't want I don't want any more people to die. So Trump's trying to end this war.
No,
Again,
stop. Your position has been historically debunked. It was debunked in 2014.
How?
Because in 2014, Russia annexed Crimea, a region of Ukraine. We did nothing. They stepped back. They stepped back. They reloaded, and then they went for the rest of the region. Russia.
That was under
wants
Obama,
to-
right?
Yes, and that was a bad decision made by Obama. Russia wants to expand their country and rebuild the USSR, okay? When we apply less resistance and less pushback, and we usher the sentiment of appeasement towards the Russian Federation, that only allows Russia to be stronger in their annexation of more land. That
So
is
you're
not
okay
theirs.
with
Would you
okay,
let
so
me
you're
finish?
okay with hundreds.
Would you let me finish?
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to let you talk. I thought you stopped talking.
What?
Dude, you don't have to be so condescending. I'm trying to let you talk, okay? Keep talking.
Okay.
Dude, so if
Okay,
you're okay,
okay, I'm gonna.
do you want to talk or do you want me to say something? 'Cause I'll let you
I'll
finish.
go back to what I was saying. Anyways, so when we usher in the sentiment of appeasement and we basically do nothing to hold a red line in the sand against Russia, Russia is only further enabled to expand and annex more land that does not belong to them. Okay? The only way to prevent Russia from violating and killing more humans in land that is not owned to them, that they have no right to, is to hold a red line against Russia. We are at a point where either we embolden Ukraine to defeat Russia, or we embolden Russia to defeat Ukraine. By funding Ukraine, we embolden the victim. By defunding Ukraine, we embolden the aggressor.
Are you done talking? I just want to. I'm trying to be respectful for your time. Okay? So this is my response to that. I don't think this is a war that Ukraine can ever win. No matter how many hundreds of billions of dollars we send them, like I said, Russia has more men. And what this is it's a slippery slope. And so what you're saying is you're in support of funding Ukraine. But what that also says is that inevitably hundreds of thousands of Russians and Ukrainians are going to die because of that. And in the end, dude, I'm telling you,
I would
Russia
I would
will
prefer
win.
I would prefer Russian troops to die over Ukrainian citizens. Yep.
It's Russian and Ukrainian soldiers.
Wait. I have a question. I have a question. And
Yeah.
you know that like what we're trying to do is we're trying to get to a point where like Russia's economy cannot continue the war, right? And if the entirety of the West, NATO, right, is literally upholding Ukraine, they're going to be able to hold up economically speaking longer than Russia is. That's going to be what's going to allow for Ukraine to stay Ukraine. That or they join NATO. Other
But
than that, you're saying that you're totally okay with Russia turning Ukraine into Russia.
No, I'm not okay with it. I don't agree with it. But the whole point is, dude, is when we fund this war, millions of men are going to die. They're pulling Ukrainian boys who are like 13 years old out of the streets and sending them to the front lines.
But they'll only have to pull out more 13-year-old Ukrainian boys if they are not backed by NATO, if they're not backed by the US, if they're not backed by the UN, if they're not backed by the UK, if they're not backed by France, Germany, and Poland. The less support that we give to the country of Ukraine, the more reliant Ukraine is on other individuals in their countries. Okay, but I would like to
Dude, what have
say
we been
that the
funding
claim
them?
that Ukraine is pulling and forcing 13-year-olds to go fight their war is a fucking lie. That is Russian propaganda, just like the sentiment that we're giving them too much money. Okay,
Dude, it's on video.
when
dude.
when
It's
you
on
when,
video.
dude,
It's
it's
not a
on
lie.
video. When you make this argument, one moment, when you make this argument that we should stop supporting Ukraine because it will only lead to more people dying in the long term, is because if we stop supporting Ukraine right now and they become weaker, then it is easier for Russia to kill them all right now. Like, we have to understand that there absolutely should be a red line against expansionism, against foreign aggression through ethnic cleansing. And the only way to uphold that red line is to support the country that is being ethnically cleansed. I absolutely do not believe that we should just let Ukraine be defeated, let hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians be ethnically cleansed or killed, and give Russia some of their land to stop the death.
That's what you're doing.
I absolutely believe that there is, at the bare minimum, nothing morally wrong about Ukraine defending their right to exist, and
Neither do
something
I.
morally wrong about intentionally weakening the country to allow Russia to easily overtake their country. You believe Putin and the propaganda that has been pushed through Western media, funded by the Kremlin, and that is an issue, sir.
I don't believe propaganda. They're one of the strongest. They're in the top 3 most strongest militaries in the world. There's
Wait, you said top 3 strongest militaries in the world because of manpower? War's no longer about manpower. It's about strength and technology.
I never
And
said
my
that.
evidence
Stop
for this,
putting
yes, you
words
did.
in
Yes,
my
you did.
mouth.
You said that they have more men, and my evidence for that war is no longer about how
I
many men you
didn't.
have, but rather
I
about
said
strength and
top 3 militaries
technology.
in the world.
Is no. You said this about 5 minutes ago. Is the fact that now Russia's is reliant upon North Korean troops to come in and fight for it.
Yeah, but I didn't say the statement together. I didn't say they're the top 3 because of manpower. I said they have manpower, but that's not the reason. So you're twisting my words.
So what's the
But here's
reason
the
why
thing.
you think that Ukraine will never win?
Because, well, it's a factor, but it's not entirely why. Of course, we've made progressions. But the reason why I don't think they'll ever win is because Ukraine is going to run out of men eventually, and Russia's
You
making
just
it.
did it again. I can't, bro. You just literally you ran the thing that Dean said you were running.
It's
and
not
you're like,
about-
I'm not running that.
It's not about men. It's not about men. It's about strategy and technology. Okay, and the fact that
But if
Russia
you have
is
no
already
men,
bringing
you
in
can't run the
troops from North
technology
Korea.
then.
The fact that Russia
No
is
men, you
already
can't run the
the fact that
technology.
are you going to interrupt me one more time, you child?
You keep interrupting me.
Oh God, so we got a vigilante on our hands. I interrupt you, therefore you interrupt me. How about we
Oh,
both be
you're
adults
so
and we stop
triggered.
interrupting
You're
one
so
another?
triggered. You're so triggered. It's so funny.
Oh my God, yeah, liberal shows any more emotion than a fucking AI robot, and then liberals.
Yeah,
wrong.
now
I
you're
get it.
swearing. Yeah, there you go.
Wait, so because I
that what
swear
you
I'm
do?
wrong? Is that your
Well,
argument?
I mean-
Dean?
Yes,
Wait.
yes.
Wait, I just want to clarify that your argument right now, right, is not to combat the fact that we need to be holding a red line against Russia, and that is the only way to prevent further Russian expansionism, is not to combat the historical truth that when Russia annexed Crimea in 2014 and we did nothing about that, that only emboldened them for more expansionism into the rest of the region of Ukraine, and that we must hold up the Budapest Memorandum, the red line, but it's rather to say that Dean uses curse words, therefore Dean is wrong?
No, I never said that. I just thought it was funny. So you keep saying things that I actually never say, and I think it's funny. That's what I think it is.
Oh, you know what I think is even more hilarious than me using curse words?
What's that?
Your inability to comprehend or understand or respond to the 3 facts that I just laid out in very clear language.
And which are those?
That if we don't hold a red
Remind me
line
real
against
quick.
Russia, Russia will only expand more. My evidence is their annexation of Crimea.
You know what I'd argue? I'd argue it's actually better for this war to end right now. Have Russia take over
doesn't-
Ukraine and cause hundreds of thousands of men on both sides to keep dying.
Do you think that they'll
Yeah,
stop?
yeah,
Do
I
you think that
do.
they'll wait, why didn't they stop at Crimea?
Pro-Russia, just pro-Russia, by the way.
Why-
You just advocated
No,
for Russia to own
I'm
Ukraine.
anti-death. I'm anti-death.
That's
what
not
I-
anti-death. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it
Wait,
is.
that's like saying that like the Nazis should have just taken over the Soviet Union, should have taken over the UK because of there was just so much death. Should we have just given the UK to the Nazis to stop the death?
But that's a completely different. Wait, can
Why?
you say
Why
it
is
one
that
more
completely
time?
different?
Well, say it one more time. I didn't
Should
hear
we
you.
have just given the UK to the Nazis because there was lots of death? There was lots of bombing campaigns, right, of the citizens within the UK.
Oh, dude, it was
right, like
terrible.
they had to go into like these bomb shelters.
They had to fight so
constantly.
fucking hard. The UK had to fight so hard in World War II, and they almost lost. Should we have just given the UK to the Nazis?
Yeah, to like
No.
engage in quote unquote peace.
Okay.
No,
That's
Wha-
contradictory
wha-
to your principles.
Yeah, literally, like you just contradicted your own argument.
Dude, but the whole idea is that was a war that Great Britain had the capability of winning, and they won.
And it is the war, like Ukraine can actually defend their country, especially if the West defended them. And you're creating this nonsense position that is not backed up by experts that says that they would just completely lose even with the West's backing.
And I just want to clarify, like, if you know your like facts about history throughout World War II in retrospect, without like a certain understanding of what will come in the future, like Ukraine has more of an advantage against Russia than at the time the UK seemingly had against the Nazis. Okay, the UK was seriously almost lost, and for a while it was a losing battle for them. All right, but right now for Ukraine, I don't know if I'd say the same thing. And I also want to point out another aspect that is rarely ever fucking considered by pro-Russia NPCs such as yourself. The moment the U.S. backs
Never
down,
said I was pro-Russia. I just
You
said
just said that you
Nope,
preferred
what I-
Ukraine
no,
to
no,
be
no, no,
Russia.
no,
No,
no.
you
No, no, no.
absolutely said that you preferred Ukraine to be Russia.
Yeah.
That is absolutely a pro-Russian talking point.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't even get me started.
Pro-Russian NPCs only get the right to speak on my live when I say so, just like you think that Ukraine only gets the right to exist when Putin says so. All right, Jackson? Sorry, if you're for totalitarian imperialist dictatorships, guess what, buddy? I'm going to go ahead and give you that energy. Right now, your mic is muted. It's cut off, okay? And I will only unmute it at my will, inconsiderate of your thoughts or feelings. All right? And you better support that position and not give me any pushback because you don't want more conflict on this live. Anyways, moving on to what I was going to say. So I don't know why a lot of like pro-Russian NBCs never make this consideration. It's not like when the US backs down that like, oh, like the war and dying in Ukraine just stops. Okay? No. That's when the rest of NATO is like, what the fuck is America doing? Like Russian expansionism isn't just a threat to the sanctity of the life in Ukraine, but also a threat to NATO. And the larger they grow, the larger of a threat they become. So then the rest of NATO fucking steps up, dude. Like the UK is now considering putting boots on the ground inside of Ukraine because we're backing down. Same thing with France. They're going to bump their spending and they're only going to further advance a more immediate and material means of support for the country, such as their own boots on the ground to fight against Russia because the US is no longer pulling their weight, right? Which only further increases the chance of more global conflict. Of course, Putin is going to be one step closer to launching a full-on fucking World War III when there's UK boots on the ground in Ukraine killing his troops compared to when America is sending them $32 billion per year. So if you want to defend human rights and fight for the and fight for this idea of less death in the future, well, it is the case that red line is imminent and that red line needs to be held.
Is my mic on? Is my mic on? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go back and just defend what I said earlier.
No, respond to what I just said.
Dude, I'm responding to it right now. So I am not pro-Russia. I'm anti hundreds of thousands of people dying. And what I said was, I'd rather have this war end and people stop and have Russia take some of the Donbass region and then have Ukraine. That's what Trump's trying to do.
You're not
I'm trying
responding to what I
tell
just
you-
said.
What do you want me to respond to? What exactly?
Jackson, you just posed the same argument after both Dean and I critiqued that argument. Like I gave you a response, a hypothetical, particularly with World War II, where like your same argument would entail that like we just create some sort of peace deal to give the UK to the Nazis.
And then I further added on my own critique of stating that it's not like the war ends when the U.S. backs down. That's when the rest of NATO gets more involved.
The problem with NATO getting involved is it's a slippery slope. When UK starts to put troops in Ukraine, if all of NATO starts going against Russia, the problem is it's a slippery slope of World War III.
That's kind of my fucking point, Jackson. You know how we prevent that?
Dude, you're so rude. Like, I hope you know that. Like, dude, you're
Jesus
actually
Christ,
so disrespectful.
rudeness and disrespect is the last thing I care about right now. I'm so sorry if that triggers you. What you just said was my fucking point. Do you know how we prevent that slippery slope of further material NATO involvement on the ground of Ukraine? You know how we prevent that?
What?
By continuing to support Ukraine, okay? Like the statements and sentiments reiterated by countries like the UK and other countries inside of NATO to put boots on the ground and fight Russia, which could lead to World War III, only exists because Donald Trump revoked funding.
And honestly, Jackson, it's really weird that you say that Dean's so disrespectful and oh my God, he's so rude. But then like you never say that about Donald Trump? You don't think that's like a turning off
I'm not the
factor
one
against
swearing
Donald
and
Trump?
cussing. I'm trying to have a respectful conversation.
Well,
but whenever you get mad-
do you see what he says about women? Do you see what Donald Trump says about women, especially like Eugene Carroll?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to defend every single locker talk he's ever had.
Okay, the fact that you literally just write it off as quote unquote locker room talk is the exact problem that we're seeing exists in the first place.
Like you've never talked bad about women and said sexual stuff. Yeah, right.
No, I've never said that I grab women's vagina without asking. I have never said I walk into the changing rooms of girls in Miss Team USA because I quote unquote own the place. I've never said that I would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. Right? I've never said that any of those things, right? You've said those things?
No.
Okay, so then why are you writing them off as like why are you hold up, let me please finish. Why are you writing them off as if like that's just some typical thing that guys do?
Because just because someone says one terrible thing doesn't mean that I'm not going to vote for them because I don't agree with their policies, right?
One terrible thing, I just mentioned multiple terrible things. What about him saying that like Eugene Carroll, he wouldn't have sexually assaulted her because she's quote unquote not the chosen one, right? That she's not attractive enough to be assaulted, right? Mm-hmm. And then he mistook her with his ex-wife.
By the way, I'm totally expecting you to hold the same energy to Trump that you just hold to me. Just saying.
Did you hear what I just said? Or did
and by the way, he just writes that off. He acts like that's nothing. No. But then Dean, right, really just trying to hold him accountable for not responding to a particular point. Yeah. Dean's too rude.
Guys. Did my mic just go off? Because someone just called me and I think the audio went off.
No, you're good. But then also, man, like,
did you hear what I said?
I understand that I'm being disrespectful to you, okay? And I understand that more productive conversation can be yielded in the lack of disrespect. But I hope that you understand that the beliefs that you are holding to in your willful ignorance and complete rejection of a thought to respond to the common sense claims that I'm providing to defeat your beliefs can really frustrate people, especially me, because it's not just a conversation between two Americans that's on the line. It's the lives of living, breathing humans, just like you and me, that are on the line, on the ground in Ukraine right now. And it's the perpetuation of the beliefs that you hold right now that have led to our government revoking funding from keeping more people alive and ensuring that less Ukrainians are ethnically cleansed, less Ukrainians lose their houses, and less Ukrainians lose their lives. Okay?
You're acting like only since Trump's been president that hundreds of thousands of people started dying. Literally during Biden's presidency,
when the fuck did
I said
I
said you're acting like it.
Okay,
because
so you want to assume what I believe?
Here's what's funny is you talk for like 1-2 minutes and I talk for like 20 seconds and then Parker talks for a minute. Let me say something for.
I don't even talk for that long. I barely was talking.
Yo, the comedic irony of the fact that he just got banned while he was saying "let me say something" is hilarious.
That actually is hilarious. I thought you kicked him.
No, I didn't.
Faded, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Faded. I really appreciate it. Keep some W's for Faded in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Faded. I really appreciate it. As well as Ashley, thank you so much for the $40 on PayPal. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I lost my whole family to MAGA. You guys make me feel better. Happy belated birthday. Yo, thank you so much, Ashley. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that we can. Thank you so much. Let's get some W's for Ashley in the comment section right now. And then Maylee, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to go to get that next guest up on the live. Yo, RSW, you said the live's at. Somebody in the chat said Dean kicked. I mean, go to my YouTube stream. You could like see the phone and the whole setup, and you could see that I didn't touch the screen. So it must have been with telepathy, right?
Yep, you do have telepathy.
Yeah, what's going on, Trey? You support Trump?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I did not think I was gonna be able to get on it. No, I just wanted to say that.
Trey, I'm so sorry. You are driving and you don't support Trump. I'm so sorry for kicking you, man. Show some love to Trey down below in that comment section while we get the next guest up on the live. So if everyone would just please just give us a moment to get the next guest up here, that'd be sweet, y'all. We're gonna get the next guest loading in right now. What's up, Connor? Do you support Trump? As an echo, so we're gonna move on. Guys, go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that comment section if you do want to come up and have a debate. And Mr. Howard with a $40 donation over on YouTube Super Chat saying, Dean, you and Parker are brilliant. Dude, Howard, thank you so much not only for the $40, there's a shit ton of money, but also for the incredibly kind message. I do really appreciate that. Everybody, please show some love to Howard down below in that chat right now. I'd also like to thank Thomas with the $20 on Venmo, O with a $15 on Venmo. Thank you so much. D with a 5. And then Emma with a 5. You guys are so incredibly kind. And then what is going on, Chris? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I was curious what y'all thought about the stock market for today.
Yeah, I'm really happy that it's rebounding because Donald Trump paused his tariffs after backlash from international communities.
Oh, backlash!
I have a question. What did we get from him crashing the markets?
Well, first off, it never crashed. It went into a free fall momentarily, but it never crashed.
That's what a crash is.
It just depends on how you.
Well, it's not. But
what do you mean by crash?
Well, I mean, I don't call crash a dip that naturally happens.
Wait, to clarify, a drop in the S&P 500 by 10% in a day is not a crash?
He just contradicted himself, Parker. He said he doesn't qualify a dip that naturally happens as a crash. Okay, well, this was a dip that was unnaturally manufactured by Donald Trump's shit policy.
Okay.
Largest tax increase in U.S. history?
Largest tax increase what?
In U.S. history.
Oh, the tariff?
Yeah.
That's why they're being. That's why they've come to the table to negotiate.
Oh, wait. What did we get from them? Tell me one thing.
I mean, the negotiations are happening. I don't know the details yet.
Okay. Anyways, Chris, why do you support Trump? I'll be nice again. Sorry. You know, one thing I also realize is like I'll have like one guest on the stream that gets me all riled up, and then I'll like hold that same attitude towards like the next guests. But I just need to realize that different people are.
I got you.
But go ahead, Chris. Tell us why you support Trump.
I mean, I just think. I think he would have a better.
He's lagging out.
Unfortunately, we got to kick you, Chris.
Hold on
just
one second. I'm trying to give me one second.
All right, Chris. I'm going to go ahead and trust you there.
Chris.
Chris, we put you on mute. Feel free to just unmute when you find yourself in an area with better service. Typically, that's not something I would do. However, you know, I feel like we are both interested in talking to you. So we're going to get that next guest up in the live right now. You guys, if you're on that queue, make sure that you support Trump and not if you are not MAGA. All right. Tatiana, thank you so much for the $5 over on YouTube Super Chat. I do appreciate that. And what is going on, Alexis? Do you support Trump?
No, I didn't mean to click that button.
No worries, Alexis. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. Moving on to the next guest. Let's see what we got.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Surprisingly, yes.
Okay, I changed connection. I switched over to a hotspot. All right, am I still lagging?
No, you sound all right. So why do you support Trump, man?
Okay, so like I said, I think I mean obviously I'm conservative. Apparently, if I don't support everything he does or who he is as a person, I just think he would have better. I think he's deals from a strong position of strength more than Kamala and her policies. I'm pro-life. A lot of well, I think there is a little bit of a delay. I mean, I'm pro-life. Things like that. That's just one example.
That's not an example of Donald Trump being more like strong than Kamala Harris. That doesn't make any sense. You just said you agree with the abortion policy. You're pro-life. Okay, then I'll ask you this question: Are you Christian?
Yes, I am.
Where in the Bible does it say that abortion should be illegal?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay. So then, what's the basis
Other
of your
than, I mean,
position
it
for
depends
it to
on.
be illegal?
Well, I mean, I just hold human life value at as human life.
Yeah, but like
Future,
God
potential
doesn't.
future sentience.
Yeah, but God doesn't restrict women's access to abortion. So why should you?
Well, he doesn't restrict access to schmurdering anyone, but I mean,
You're
I
just.
mean, we can all do.
So
He
you're
does. We
saying.
can. My point is, I'm saying. I mean, if we're going to just get, see, if we're just going to go by what God permits, I mean, He permits a lot of evil things to happen. That doesn't mean that we should do them.
No, no, I'm not making the claim that you should or shouldn't do something. I'm saying that like there shouldn't be a law against it. I'm saying that like you don't have any grounding for saying what should be illegal predicated off of like your religious views. You don't have any grounding for saying that like it should be illegal, right, in the context of abortion, right, here.
Right.
Because
That's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying. I mean, you brought up the Christian argument. I did the Christian line of questioning. I didn't. I think.
That's
I
where,
mean, I
that's where you
think
get
it's.
that's where you get your morals from. So what I'm saying is that like it doesn't even
But
comply with your
I'm
morals
giving
to
it.
say that it should be illegal. You can say you disagree with it, you think it's wrong, but like it is under your view. I see no reason to say it should be illegal.
Well, I mean, I think taking innocent life in any circumstance would be wrong, outside of a Christian reasoning.
Oh, we're not just saying it's okay. Just because it's considered wrong doesn't mean it should be illegal, right? You consider adultery wrong, correct?
Right, and
Should,
I mean,
should Donald Trump be in prison for adultery because you consider it to be wrong?
no, not necessarily. No,
Okay.
not
So
all
just
crime. Not all crime. Yeah, not all crimes against humanity are equal.
okay. Well, then how do you differentiate?
I mean, that's just. I mean, I guess. I mean, the rights. What is it? The rights for one end begin where the rights of one end where the rights of another begin.
When
So to
does it
speak.
begin? When do the rights begin for human beings?
I think they should begin. I mean, at conception, in
Why?
implantation specifically.
Oh wait,
I mean,
implantation or conception? Which one?
well, utero and implantation in utero, because obviously an
Oh,
ectopic is not viable.
wait. So what's the distinction between prior to implantation and
You,
after implantation that means that you consider one to be valuable but not the other?
one has a good chance of becoming viable. The other one, if
There's
it never
actually a 0.1 second prior to implantation. There's no distinction in probability.
okay,
So why is it not valued prior to implantation?
because because you have to have a cutoff somewhere, and that's just where I see the most
So
logical
it's just
place would be.
arbitrary. Okay, so why don't I just place it on sentience?
Well, you can. I mean, that's your
Under your
and I'm pretty
perspective.
sure that's your point.
Under your perspective, why don't you?
Because I consider it valuable before that.
Why?
Because I believe future sentience is also valuable. I mean, present sentience. I believe future sentience would also be morally valid to accept, other than just current sentience.
Yeah, but you don't care about the future just in of itself. Otherwise, you'd value it prior to implantation just as much as you do after
The,
implantation.
the only reason I don't value it as much prior to implantation is because you don't know if it's ever going to
Like,
implant in
listen,
utero.
listen.
It-
Your argument is no different, right, than someone saying location is determinant of the moral value of the entity. That's all you're saying.
Also,
It's
please
just
stop
location.
genuine keys. Please.
Oh, sorry. The difference. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I don't do this for a living. I don't debate stuff for a living. So you could be completely right. I could be illogical in what I'm about to say. But I guess the way I see it, difference is at some point we have to have a cutoff, and I think before the way I understand it, before implantation, it could never implant, and there's a good possibility of no future sentience, because if it never implants in utero, then I mean it's not going to be it's an inhabitable it's a space that's never going to create anything. Once it implants in utero, then you have a lot more of a chance of a probability of future sentience and viability.
Again,
I mean,
0.1 second prior to implantation, there's no distinction in probability of it particularly leading to like a sentient being comparative to the 0.1 second after that, where there is implantation. So if there's
Right,
no
I mean,
distinction in the probability, well then that's not the basis of the argument for yourself.
Well, I mean, how would you say that though about sentience? I mean, 0.1 second before sentience, and we don't
Yeah,
even
it's
truly
not
know when
sentient, so
sentience
that's why I
begins.
wouldn't wait. It's not sentient, that's why I wouldn't consider it valuable.
Well, then that's what that's my point. Is 0.1 second before implantation. I'm saying it's not valuable because
Yeah, well
it's
then I would
before
ask you what about
implantation.
and I would ask you what about implantation? Implantation is like literally a process where there's going to be a difference in location. Okay, so you're saying the
Well,
location of the entity
it
is
gives a
what,
different outcome.
hold on. You're saying the
It gives a
location.
different outcome.
Hold up.
It gives. Go
Hold
ahead.
up. You're saying the location of the entity determines the moral value of it, and I'm saying that's a ridiculous statement. I don't think location determines the moral value of it. I think it's going to be a quality that they have, and the quality of a subjective experience is what I consider to be valuable.
Tia shit pinio.
Well, I guess the difference I would say there then is not. I guess I could shift my argument from just that location to because due to the fact it's implantation. There's a higher probability of a future.
What is
sentence then.
what is implantation? It's not a quality of the entity that you're referencing. It's a
Right,
process.
so the quality would because that process has happened, I would say the quality I would argue then would be with the probability of future sentience has greatly increased by the implantation.
No, again, 0.1 second prior to the implantation, there's no distinction in the probability.
Can I ask a question? So, assuming that there was a woman pregnant with a 10-week-old fetus, and for miscellaneous reasons, that 10-week-old fetus had the same probability as achieving sentience as the average zygote prior to implantation would, do you think that she should legally be allowed to get an abortion?
No, because I think at that point nature will take its course. If it's at that point the probability. I mean,
Oh, so then you don't think that women should be legally allowed to access IUDs?
I'm not sure. I'll be honest. I'm not 100. IUDs prevents what fertilization.
They'd be
what?
killing these zygotes with a low probability for future sentience, just like a mother would be killing this 10-week-old fetus with that same probability of future sentience. If one shouldn't be allowed, neither should the other, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not 100% sure what I think on IUDs. I mean, I hear a lot of women that argue that they're pretty dangerous. That there's a lot of risks taken with them. So I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not sure much about
What are the dangers and risks of
IUDs.
IUDs?
Well, just hormonal changes. I mean, fertilization or being fertile afterwards. I mean,
Like
I
just
haven't
like the
looked it up.
dangers and risks associated with birth control as a whole.
Probably, yeah. But I think IUDs had
So
greater
you think that you should be able to speak for other people, right? You don't think that adults should be able to consent to the risks brought on by birth control? See,
I mean, that's a
I'm
good
I'm
ar- I
fine.
mean,
I'm fine with like
yeah.
advocating for like ensuring informed consent to access forms of birth control, but I'm not fine with saying that although individuals may have informed consent, they still shouldn't be able to access it because of the risks that may exist.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I'm all for Plan B because I believe it prevents fertilization.
Also,
So, and
like I
that's
don't. I also think that like IUDs are among like the safest forms of birth control. They just like hurt the most.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It could be. I'm not much. I mean, obviously, I've never had to use one. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny with that, but I haven't looked into them too much. But I mean, that's just me. Preferably, I choose to only lay with people that I don't mind having a child with.
Why are you going to be the one to determine whether or not it should be illegal?
Well, for the same reason I can speak on, I think SA is bad just because I'm not personally involved in it. I think I can speak that something is. I don't think we have to be personally involved in it to speak on something that could be considered morally bad.
Are you comparing someone getting an abortion to SA?
No,
Like,
you
within what
asked me
respect are
why
you
could I
comparing it?
speak on.
Yeah, he's basically saying although he
To what?
like can't personally get an abortion, he should still be able to speak on it due to the fact that he thinks that it's morally wrong. Listen, Chris, is there anything else you want to share with us? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of just like sitting back.
No, you're good.
I mean, like, I'm not too
Regardless who you are, if you have no clue what you're talking about, right, you probably shouldn't be the one that's talking about that, if in a public setting.
I got you. Do you think the tariffs are going to do any? Do you think there is any benefit to tariffs that's going to come from?
It depends on what is
Not a net benefit.
It depends on what his like plan is, and nobody knows his plan. But I will say is that overall the tariffs are a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, Chris, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to move on to my next guest.
Okay, go ahead. Appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. If you're one of the 6.6 thousand people in the live, guys, make sure that we are double tapping away in that phone screen. Let's go and get that next guest up here right now. Then also, Chelsea, thank you so much for the $15 donation over on Venmo. Thank you for the love, Chelsea. Everybody, please show some love to Chelsea down below in that comment section. Then also Chase with the $5 on Venmo. Ducky with the $20 on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Ducky. I do really appreciate you for that love, Ducky. Everybody, please show some love to Chelsea and Ducky. Then also Emma with the $5. I do appreciate you so much. Then Ashley with the $40 and Linda with the $20 over on PayPal. I want everybody to show some love to Ashley and Linda down below in that comment section right now. I do really appreciate everyone so much for your kindness and generosity today. If you're watching and you're like, hey, I like this guy, I want to support what he's doing to keep the stream going for 4 hours a day, feel free to support me. You can support me over Venmo and PayPal, which is accessible via the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms. You can also find that in the pinned message over on the YouTube stream if you happen to if you happen to be watching over there. But we are going to go and get our next guest up here, so go ahead and spam MAGA down below in that comment section. We'll get you up here. Everyone, just go ahead and give us one moment. What's going on, Jaden? I saw that you were in the queue.
It's me.
What's going on, man? Saw that you were in the queue. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. And yourself?
Doing all right. You want to hang out for a little bit?
That I would. I got nothing else going on.
All right. Yo, what's going on, Brooke? Do you support Trump?
How much longer are you staying on?
Hey, Dean, I sent you just a couple dollars on Venmo. I had wanted to tell you guys an argument that I use against Republicans who are pro-life that I haven't heard you guys bring up before.
Yeah, sure. What is it?
I totally understand if you want to kick me, though. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, you just want to run it by us in like a sentence or two real quick while I'm working on getting the next guest up
Super
here?
simple. I ask if they have ever heard of a twin eating another twin in utero. They say yes. I ask them if they would arrest that baby for murder once it's born, and they lose their minds.
That's actually logically sound.
Thank you.
Wait.
I've been trying for weeks to get this argument to you.
Wait. You're right. Because like even like a newborn isn't going to possess like sufficient consciousness or sentience to like intentionally eat the you know what?
Exactly. And this goes over into the IVF arena as well, because it is very common for women to get multiple implants, become pregnant with multiple fetuses, and oftentimes those fetuses absorb the others because it's not a sustainable thing to have a litter of children.
You know what?
So
Great. Honestly,
I use this all the time.
It's a pretty good
and
one.
they can't refute it. They can't refute it. It's so much simpler for them to understand. And if you wouldn't arrest a baby for eating its twin in the womb, it's not murder.
Josh, thank you so much for the galaxy. Well, hey, Brooke, I appreciate you so much for coming up there and sharing that. I mean, I think that there's a few takeaways there that could actually make a decent argument. Thank you so much for your time, Brooke.
Thank you, guys. I love you guys. Have a great day.
You as well. You as well. There's actually something that can be taken away there. Like, you know, you hear about a fetus consuming their twin in the womb. You don't blink an eye. Hear about a newborn eating their twin out of the womb. What the fuck? That's insane. You know what I mean? That's actually not too bad. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Been debating abortion for years and never ever heard that before. Very impressed, Brooke. Freddie, what's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
19. What time is it?
6:38.
I don't believe you.
What do you mean you don't believe me?
Because I think that you're from Ireland. Nope. Moving on to the next guest, we got Sky loading up into that box. Everybody, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen, y'all. All right, here we go. What's going on?
What's up,
Glenn?
Sky?
Thank you so much for the galaxy. I appreciate that. Glenn, what's going on? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Oh, Sky. No. Why? Why, Sky?
I don't know.
Sky,
I feel like
Sky, why?
you might be able to like change my mind a little bit or something.
That's a goal.
So
How old are you?
I'm 21.
21. Okay. Why do you support Trump?
You know, the safety of our country, and
Oh, did we talk
I do not
yesterday?
support the abortion thing. Don't even like.
Sky, did we talk yesterday?
Yeah.
Bro, you just like screamed at us about like national security for 30 minutes, and I told you that why you were wrong, and you just kept talking.
But like
about
I'm
national
watching, and like you've got some valid points, and I'm trying to hear more valid points.
Give me an argument that Donald Trump is better for national security than Kamala Harris would have been.
Oh, I mean, like,
Motherfucker.
Now I'm off guard. Like, I've been sitting here just listening.
Sky, why'd you do this again?
Would I what?
Why'd you do this again? If it didn't go well the first time, why'd you do it again?
I just want to I get the whole abortion thing, but like, I just want to get.
Are you trolling?
No, I just want to like I said, get to know more about what you're debating and arguing.
So then give the argument. Tell me.
So couldn't you do that by watching? Okay.
I would just want to give you maybe just a singular opportunity to make an argument insofar as why Donald Trump is better for national security than Kamala Harris would have been.
Well, I mean, she's a woman.
Sky.
Okay.
Are we
I'm a
being
woman
fucking
too, but,
Sky?
like,
Are we being fucking serious right now?
No.
Realistically, Donald Trump has everybody's best interest. I mean, like,
No, stop!
yeah,
Don't move on.
Yeah, he has.
No. Sky, stop talking.
different interests than most people.
Mouth shut, please. You just said because she's a woman. Do you think men are better at leading than women?
Personally, coming from a woman, yeah.
Okay.
Then why don't you listen to Dean? Why don't you accept his argument?
The paradox as old as time.
Because not all of it is very I just can't go with it.
What do you mean? I thought he's a better leader.
Yeah, come on, man. Sky, I'm a man in accordance with your view. I'm a better leader. I don't know. I'm gonna lead us into
Trump against Kamala. Kamala, my bad. But still.
Sky. So right now we have you and me trying to lead the live viewership of close to 10,000 into intellectual truth and wisdom. You think that men are better at leading than women. So does this mean that I would be better at leading the live in intellectual truth and wisdom?
No, I don't think men are better leading than women. I think men in office of presidency may be better leading than a woman would be.
Okay, why?
And
Based on what qualities? Wait, what qualities does Donald Trump have that tells you that he's a better leader than Kamala Harris?
His devotion towards the military and giving the military more money.
Me cutting the VA?
Wait, Parker, I almost feel like
active military.
I almost feel like a
relationship.
conversation about why she thinks men would perform better in that role compared to women is more valuable before talking about the specific character attributes of Trump compared to Harris, because I want to make it evidently clear that the position that men are better at leading than women is completely baseless and nonsensical. You know what I mean?
Presidentially wise, that's my opinion.
So
I feel like
Give
there's
me an
a
argument.
reason it's only been men.
Give me an argument. Oh, wait.
Then-
So I have a question. If the year was 2007 and Obama hadn't become president yet, would you say that white people are better at being president than black people because there's quote unquote a reason why we had never had a black president?
No, because at the end of the day, I feel like anybody could have ran the country from the beginning of time and it still would have been fine. But I just feel like there's a reason that there hasn't been women running the president.
So how would you
running the
respond
country.
how would you respond to a 2007 white supremacist that argued there's a reason why we've never had a black president?
I mean, he's racist, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know why the color of somebody's skin would make a difference.
So then why does
Why with their sex?
I mean, it's just the way the world has displayed itself as being. That's why.
Right, but you're upholding that same level of misogyny that has been propagated for centuries at this point, that has negated a woman's right or a black person's right or any person, regardless of ability, skin color, or what have you, their ability to lead this country. By saying that they cannot do it simply furthers that narrative.
No, I never said nobody can't do it. I'm just
You're
saying,
saying it should be
there's
worse, though.
there's just a reason that there has to be an underlying
What's the
reason
reason?
that there's no. I don't know, but there has to be an underlying
yeah,
reason. That
you
women
are the
haven't been
reason.
president.
You're the reason, Sky.
Totally.
You're putting forth this notion that they somehow are inept or incapable of being leaders. I reject that wholeheartedly. But because of you and people
No
of
woman
like-minded,
has shown.
of like-minded attitudes, perpetuating this idea has only furthered the idea that women cannot be president.
No woman has made it to presidency. No woman has,
Because of ideas like yours.
because of
Has nothing to do with
Clearly-
qualifications or experience
no,
or even
maybe it's just
electoral
a lack
history,
of
clearly.
confidence because women
Lack of
didn't always
confidence?
have rights. Women didn't always, women weren't always top priority. We're still not top priority, but we're getting sports and. But
You
I'm
could
just,
say that about any other marginalized group in America. that does not denote one's ability to lead this country.
Sacred Souls, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Watch this,
I mean,
guys.
women-
Let me just ask you a quick question. So now we're going to identify if the reason why men have disproportionately served as the president of America compared to women is because of something to do with facts of men and women, or something to do with the facts of sexism in society's perception of the abilities of men and women. Can you tell me any differences between a man and a woman that would make men better at running the country?
There's no facts on what it would be. I mean, there might be, but I
Okay.
don't think.
So then you don't actually think that men are better
I
at
mean-
leading than women. You're just merely reiterating the sexist sentiment that men are better at leading than women. That kind of comes from traditionalism and the patriarchy that has indoctrinated generations of humans across the globe into holding that tidbit of false information as fact, leading to further persecution, marginalization, and oppression of women. Okay? And the same way, we've seen systems of oppression upheld that yield the conclusion that white people are better at leading than non-white people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here's the point of what I'm getting at here. This should in no sense. Well, she left. Okay. Well, she left. Brooke, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Brooke says, thank you so much for letting me up on your live to give my argument. Women decide what to do with their body. Thank you again. Have the best day. Love the work you do. Oh, that's a Brooke that came up. Brooke, I think that you're awesome. Thank you so much for popping up. And that was a really interesting perspective that I had not heard before. All right, we're going to go and get that next guest up in the live, you guys. Once again, if you want to support...
What's it
Good?
called? I was probably going to start my own live here pretty soon.
Yeah, okay. Feel free. Whenever you start your own live, I'll probably go back to singles too. Feel free to do that whenever you want. Sarah, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Saying thank you for what you do. Thank you so much for the love, Sarah. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you, Sarah. All right, we're going to get our next guest up in here, everyone. So just go ahead and give us a moment, quite frankly. Let's see who's next. How about that? Go ahead and put a MAGA down below in that comment section. We'll get you up here for a debate, for a conversation. Who's next?
All right, do it in the intermediary.
Absolutely,
I'll
Rat
be-
Man.
I'll see you later. See you later, Dean.
You heading out,
See you later.
Parker?
Oh, see you, Parker.
All right, peace out, everyone. See you later, Jaden.
All right. Have a good one. Jaden, you want to stay around for one more conversation? Then probably head back to singles.
Why does everyone leave when I come here? Yeah, sure.
No, dude, it's not you at all. We've been close for a couple hours now. But anyways, Ratman, what's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do. I don't
How old are you?
fully support all his policies and everything.
How old are you?
I'm 18,
Okay, what year were you born in?
but I didn't get to 2007.
2007. I think that Dexter Morgan would be lived out.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't really view like people day to day on like where they reside in politics. I don't really let that like dictate how I live every day and who I associate myself
Okay,
with.
so why do you support Trump?
Okay, so first of all, I really respect you guys. I think what you're doing is really cool, like for your own beliefs. I don't support everything Trump does. I think the tariffs aren't really good. I really disagree
I don't want
with
to hear
he-
what you disagree with him about. I want to hear what you
Okay,
agree
yeah.
with him about.
So I am pretty pro-life, I would say. I know I've heard a lot like pro-life stuff today. I am pro-life myself. That's
I
like
told you were in a live earlier this morning saying racial slurs. Is that true?
No, I was not in any live today before yours, Dean, maybe like an hour or two ago. I have never said a racial slur and I never will. That is terrible. And I wasn't in a live before today.
I think that you're under 18. Just real quick here. Question.
Mhm.
Would Trump
Yeah.
be on Dexter's list? Would he fit the code?
No, he would not.
Trump wouldn't fit the code?
Well, he hasn't killed anyone, so no.
So, but grape isn't enough to fit the code?
I mean, no, it's not. I think that if it's 100% he did, that's a terrible, terrible thing.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah.
I think that you're under the age of 18. So we're going to move on to the next guest. If you're one of the 6.9 thousand people watching the stream, you guys, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. We are going to go and get that next guest up here right now. Also, just like Michael C. Hall, flaming liberal. Really cool guy, honestly. You should watch some of his Broadway performances. He's a chiller. Let's go to get that next guest up in here, you guys. If you're watching over on YouTube, hit that like button. Y'all already know, quite frankly. All right.
Maxine.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Maxine is loading in. If you're one of the 6.8 thousand people watching the stream and you're not scared to have a political discussion with somebody that disagrees with you, go ahead and just drop a MAGA down below in that chat. We are seeing a lack of an abundance of Trump supporters to come up here and debate. And quite frankly, it's very disheartening because quite frankly, we want debates, quite frankly. Randy, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. We're just simply not seeing anybody. You guys are scared. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and just get our next guest going here. Cam, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. And the live, quite frankly, got banned. Quite frankly. Fucking hell. Fucking A, dude. Holy shit. My God. That's it. Let's see how long we've been live today. Let's see it real quick. Oh, wait. And it's on an account ban warning? Oh my God. And it's on an account ban warning. Dude. Can't catch a motherfucking break. Parker also got banned? No shot. Really? You're joking, right? That's crazy. He did? Dude, unreal. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go live on @ItMightBeDean on TikTok. Because I think that there's like 2 more things that I need to do before I have full unrestricted live access. And we're just going to do them real quick. Yeah, let's see. Check requirements. I need to go live for 25 minutes. So everybody, we're going to go ahead and just do a 25-minute Q&A. You guys could ask any and all questions. I appreciate the 3,000 people for being here. But we just need to make sure that and also I just want to reiterate. So here's the thing. We have an account. It's @ItMightBeDean on TikTok. It is a brand new account. And there's like a couple requirements that we have to hit off until we have access to guest requests. We got to go live for at least 3 separate days. And we have to stream on it for at least 30 minutes. So we are going to go ahead and just wipe out the rest of those requirements on this brand new TikTok account. It is just @ItMightBeDean. We won't be able to bring any guests up in the meantime. We won't be able to do anything except for kind of just sitting here and chilling. But here's what we're going to go ahead and just do for the next 25 minutes, since we want to kind of get this account fully unlocked to get it to send out to that For You page so we could grab people up here for debates in the future, since we will likely just have to start using this as an account. We're just going to be streaming a Q&A for everybody on TikTok. Don't even feel like you got to be here. I'd actually strongly implore you guys to head over to the YouTube stream. Once again, all that we're kind of doing on here is just unlocking the account, okay? We got to stream for another 25 minutes before we have full access. And we'll be doing that. But anyways, if you want to ask me a question, because we're going to be doing a Q&A for the next 25 minutes, I'd say the first line of questions that I will get to every single one on will be Venmo. Now, of course, you could also just ask questions in both of the live chats, but I have a couple thousand people in here, so I'm not going to be able to answer every single one. If you'd like me to definitely answer your question, just donate to me on Venmo, and I'll get it that way. But anyways, Sabrina with a $2 super chat. What can we do to get him out of the White House? Rally, protest, and vote. I mean, really, we want to take away a lot of his control, which means flipping the House and the Senate in the midterms, but then B, just making sure that we get a good Democratic candidate in there in 2028. I think that impeachment is very unlikely. Very unlikely. Let's see here. Give us a room tour? Nah, dude, this studio is kind of dirty, surprisingly. I mean, I need to clean it up. I do. Will I ever do a meet and greet? Well, I don't know if I'll ever do like anything that's like specifically designed to function as a meet and greet, but I mean, there's plenty of opportunities where I can. I went to CMU. I met a couple hundred people there. Then definitely in Texas, at Texas A&M on April 22nd, a huge event that me and Parker will be doing will include a little bit of a meet and greet. All right. Show my cat. I'm pretty sure that the kitty cat's downstairs, unfortunately. Parker got mooned. I bet it was by Travis. That same shit happened to us earlier. Only in Texas? So hopefully we'll be able... Okay, I actually want to talk to you guys about the Unfuck America tour. So I talked a little bit more to the pack today. So we're like soft launching with an event in Texas. If the pack fundraises enough, we're also going to do an event in Wyoming. In all transparency, like the pack has asked me to kind of like push fundraising for them. I don't know how I feel about that, so that's why you haven't heard me talk about this. I'm still kind of thinking through like the moral implications of it, just because there's such a stigma around packs. But like at the same time, I think that these guys are doing good things. But anyways, so definitely Texas, maybe Wyoming. And then we'll definitely be doing more stops in the future. We'll probably just kind of like regroup after Texas and Wyoming and then plan our own tour. And that's honestly what I'm looking forward to. That'll be super exciting. Will the Unfuck America tour be live streamed? Oh, I mean, I think that we're definitely going to try to figure out a way to live stream it. That'd be so much fun. Am I going to live stream the tour? Dude, I mean, we're going to have a full professional film crew there. What's to stop like an extra camera to throw to the YouTube account? I know that there's going to be other people that are definitely live streaming it. Like Adam Mockler is going to be there. And I bet that Adam Mockler will be live streaming the whole thing. So, I mean, you'll definitely have creators there that will be live streaming it. Jessica, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Hey, you missed my super chat and that's okay. Jessica, I'm sorry. Jessica says, but I just wanted to make sure that you know how much light you bring into my life. You and Parker have gotten me through some really rough months mentally and physically. Thank you so much for what you do. Come to South Carolina. I actually have some buddies out in South Carolina. And thank you so much for the incredibly kind message, Jessica. I love hearing about how, what I do can help others. I do, because that's why I do it. You know what I mean? Patricia, thank you for the $5 on Venmo, saying, why does it feel like the Democrats are not doing enough? Are they doing what they can? Is my perception wrong? No, your perception is not wrong. I think that Democrats in Congress are not doing it nearly enough, and they're honestly just an embarrassment, bro. I think that we need all new congressmen and women for the Democratic Party. Get the old heads out. Let's get some new gens up in there that are more like energized to actually fight for change than like the career politicians that have been in there since the 90s, right? Hannah, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo. Thank you for the love, Hannah. Everyone shows some love to Hannah. Hannah says, I'm near Dallas, driving out to see y'all from Briar. Dude, let's go. See you there. Hell yeah, Briar. First name, last name says, Dean, you missed my question in regards to Canada's tariffs. Let me scroll through super chats. I don't see you anywhere in there. If you just want to copy and paste your question, go for it. Do I like musicals? If so, which ones? I actually don't. I'm not a huge musical guy. Unfortunate. What account am I live on? I am live on, it might be Dean on TikTok. We're just trying to get the account unrestricted. Somebody says that AOC and Jasmine Crockett can stay. Yeah, I like AOC, like Jasmine Crockett, like Corey. I think I'm more so like speaking about like the majority of them. But like, see, those are the Nugents. They're not unks, okay? All right, they're the Nugents, dude. Let's see. Dean 2040. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever make a run for the presidency. It's like cool though. It's cool. Oh, let's see. Wait, there's also something from Patricia. No, I already read that one. Oh, Darna with the $2 on Venmo saying, I wish I could go to your tour. Will you guys be live in Texas? Likely. Yeah. It'll be fun. And hopefully we'll be able to make more stops so like everybody can try to like get out, to a local uni. Do I read? What types of books do I read? Honestly, like anymore, I'm not a huge reader of books. I used to be, but like now it's like I just spend 4 hours a day on stream. I gotta make breakfast and dinner to go to the gym. I honestly don't have a lot of free time. And like the free time I do have, I spend it with my girlfriend. Dart, Darina. Sorry, Darina, for mispronouncing your name. Thank you for correcting my pronunciation. So I don't really read a whole lot of books anymore. Is there lag? No shot. It's funny. Dude, TikTok is all over the fucking place. Let's see how many more minutes we got. Okay, we have 27 more. Oh, wait, sorry. What am I saying? 17 more minutes to go until we're going to go to an end for the day. If you do want to donate to the stream, you can find my Venmo and the PayPal and the link tree in the bio on TikTok or on the pinned message on YouTube. And I'm actually going to be answering questions from the donations for the next 17 minutes. And then we are going to go ahead and end. I believe that my girlfriend is at work, so I'm going to take this opportunity of a night to myself to go to Sam's Club and make a nice steak because I have no clue what else I could do with myself when she's at work and I'm here. I need to make friends. Matt just texted me and said, I challenge you to a guitar battle. Bro, Matt, I would be so down if I had unrestricted access. The reason I'm live on this TikTok account right now is because I actually don't have unrestricted access I have restricted access to guest requests and coasts. I cannot use guest requests or coasts. I need to stream for another 16 minutes. And then as soon as we do, then I'm going to go ahead and end for the night. Somebody in the chat says, OMG, I remember your liberal sissy steak. Dude, that shit came out nice, man. I'm going to do that again tonight. Okay, I wanted another one of those fucking liberal sissy steaks. Gimme. Kendall, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo saying, hey, I go to Texas A&M and just wanted to say that my friends and I are so excited for you and Parker to come here. Kendall, I'm so hyped as well. Actually, Kendall, or like any other Texas A&M student, I mean, what are the kids talking about, okay? Is like word getting around school that Charlie, Kirk, Dean Withers, and Parker are all going to be down there in the same day? Somebody in the chat says, I think Sam's Club supports Trump, but I could be wrong. Well, I mean, even if they do, like, that's just like the unfortunate reality of living in a small town. Like limited access to resources. Like, insofar as like getting meat, like Sam's Club is the only place in town that sells like a ribeye for a reasonable price. And I think that like there's a lot of scenarios where like pressure over boycott, and it's just completely dependent upon like the access to resources. Like I think it's okay to say like boycott McDonald's because there's alternative resources outside of McDonald's where you could get similar goods of similar quality for a similar price. But when there's like almost like a monopoly over the market, rather that's local or non-local, it's a little bit harder to like completely boycott the goods. So that's where pressure works. By the way, Costco stood by their DEI policies. Bro, Costco's where it's at. So they were like in the middle of building, I think that they were planning to build a Costco in my town, and then they just straight up stopped construction. So like the only like big store where you could buy in bulk for cheap that is in my area is Sam's Club. But Costco is also just objectively better than Sam's Club. Costco has the best ribeyes? Bro. I'm telling you, man, like Costco, Sam's Club, like those places, they have the best meat selection ever. Fucking ever, okay? And what they also do that I love, and I'll do this once a month, okay? This is my one guilty pleasure, is you could get a USDA prime ribeye, okay? And because they have such a good supply, it is the case that you are almost, like your meat is comparable to like that of like Australian Wagyu for a fraction of the price. And actually, I think I'm going to get one of those today. And it's going to be like way expensive. But the reason why I'm also doing it is because when I moved into my apartment, the realtor actually gave me a $25 gift to Sam's Club as like a housewarming present. I don't know why. I've never seen anybody do that before. It was pretty nice though. So I'm going to go drop that on a really nice ribeye. Oh, I'm so hyped. I'm so excited. I did this a month ago. I'm going to do it again. They all do that? Oh, that's nice of them. Did I catch up with a girl with a woman that DM'd me about John Marshall. No, I actually didn't. I've been looking for her DM on Instagram for like the last 2 days. And in fact, earlier when I was streaming, there was a couple times where I zoned out to literally scroll on my DM requests on Instagram. I really want to be able to make communication with her. I'm really sad that I haven't been able to yet. Let's go ahead and reload that Venmo. Kindle says, yes, a lot of people have been talking about it. Dude, that's awesome. All right. Yo, Jacob, thank you for the $1 over on Venmo saying to go vegan. That'll likely never happen. But what I will say about veganism is I do think if there was like a synthetic alternative to meat that was of the same quality for the same price, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I would. Eva, thank you for the $2 on Venmo, saying, how do you feel about the Dow spiking 3,000 points today because of Trump's tariffs? Because he revoked them. I think that demonstrates how bad of a policy they were. Jessica with $1 and Alyssa with the 2. Guys, thank you all so much for the love. All right, let's see how much longer we have left on the live, you guys. We have another 11 minutes to go. Sweet, we're almost there. You should write a book on talking points. You know, honestly, if I ever get free time, I will write a book. I'd like to be a published author at some point in my life. But like, honestly, like I should probably like wait until I'm older. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm a pretty like decently knowledgeable dude, but I feel like you gotta be like at least 30 to like write a book. You know what I mean? You need to be at least 30, at least 35 to like sit down and write 300 pages and be like, this is something you should all spend your great money. Gotta be older for that. Gotta be older. Gotta be older. Everybody in the TikTok stream is saying, bring us to Sam's Club, cooking stream with Dean. I couldn't do that. I'm not gonna lie. Thinking about that from like a third party perspective, seeing like some dude walking around the store with his phone out. Okay, guys, we're heading towards the meat section in the back now. We're gonna get that ribeye and we're gonna eat it, and it's gonna be so good. We're gonna reverse here now. Everybody, make sure that we're double tapping away. And I can't. It's not me, man. It's not. I could barely do it in the comfort of my own home. I cannot do that in the middle of Sam's Club. Manny with $1 saying, I think you missed my first dono, but I love what you guys do. I'm so sorry if I missed your dono, but thank you so much for the love, Manny. You're awesome. And also Madeline with the $2 saying, hey, I was wondering what music do you listen to? Oh, dude, my music is, quite frankly, all over the place, all over the place. Somebody in the chat says, come to Wyoming. I actually might. So we might make a second stop of the tour in Wyoming on the 24th. But no, that's all hypothetical right now. We're still figuring out on the back end. All right. What music have I been listening to recently? I don't know. Let's play some. Oh, you know what? Okay. Well, I mean, like, I've been listening to this guy forever, but Tyler Childers is back to being my #1 artist. I like go in waves with Mr. Tyler, but like I'm back to just like absolutely fucking loving the guy. There's something so cool about Tyler Childers, something so admirable and respectable, not only about his music, which is just really good, but also about him as a person. He's so cool, dude. Just like, and also just such a good influence because he's like seriously one of the best country artists that has ever produced music. And he's just a flaming lib. And even in like the music videos to one of his songs, it was following the storyline of a gay couple. And that's a music video for a country song, which I just thought was incredible. I don't know. I really love to see it. And then I even saw an interview of him talking about it. It's because his cousin is gay. And he thought that he would be doing something wrong if he didn't have a production that like reflected, you know, this big brother of his, and how much he just loved the idea. And so he did it. So I don't know. I like the guy. I like him a lot. But, you know, there's another country artist. What's his name? Zach Bryan? Zach Bryan. I don't like him at all. Which is crazy. Why does Zach Bryan have to be a total piece of shit? Why does he have to be a total piece of shit? Like, Because, like, objectively speaking, at least from my perspective, some of the music that he's made is pretty good. But every so often, one of his songs will turn on, and he's just such a total piece of shit that it's, like, hard for me to, like, even now listen to his music. You know what I mean? I don't know. What did he do? Man, a lot. Let me think here. What's one of the things? So he like treated his ex-girlfriend, what's her name, Brianna Chicken Fry or something like that, like absolute shit, and then offered her like 10 million to sign an NDA not to talk about it. Complete womanizer, complete POS. I think he like abused her too. Like would like beat her up or something. I think he beat her, broke her phone. I don't know. I should probably wait to reiterate fact. But anyways, just total piece of shit. And his response to it has been just to like keep on producing music. He hasn't addressed it at all. I think he like deleted his social media. Let's see. Do I like Noah Khan? Actually, no, I don't. I don't. I tried to. I just don't. No, let's see what else I'm listening to. You'd think that I would. I just don't. Just don't like him. It's okay though if you like him. It's fine. Who else has been on recently? Who else has been on? Oh, you know what? I've been getting some Sublime back in the mix. Right? I guess I don't have my search history off of my phone on my laptop, or I'd be playing it. And I actually can't even play that on YouTube because they'll give me a copyright restriction. Is this my backup account? Yeah, this is my backup account. Right now, we're just going live on it to unlock full access. So it looks like I have to go live for another 5 minutes and I could get more viewers. I could unlock monetization tools and access more features. And this is like, unfortunately, the account that we're going to be going live from moving forward. Because we have like account ban warnings everywhere else. Let's see. Separate the art from the artist. I don't know how, I don't know, man. I think that sometimes the artist could be so bad that all of a sudden the art's shit. Maybe that's too woke of me, but like, I genuinely cannot listen to Kanye West anymore. You know what I mean? I just can't, dude. Like, I think like one of like Kanye's songs turned on the other day, and it was like Graduation too, right? Homecoming. But like, I just can't anymore, man. You know? And then on top of like, it just felt wrong. And then even on top of that, like I was driving my car. I was like, what if somebody else hears this? Are they going to think I'm a Nazi? You know what I mean? Like, just like, I straight up stopped streaming Kanye. Do I like Morgan Wallen? I think like years ago I tried to like his music, and I couldn't really get into it that much. But I think didn't he like throw a fucking chair off of a roof or something? Dude. And then like he went out to like SNL and then like left off in a storm and then said, "Get me back to God's country." Well, like that shit. What a goofy little dude. Get him out of here. Grave, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat saying, what are your views on the education system? What would you like to what would you like for it to be focusing on? I think that the education system needs a shit ton of reform. Like the biggest advocacy of reform that I personally want is better systems and structure for their children's mental health. So in my high school, first of all, I live in like one of the I can't say that, on self-unaliving capitals of the nation. For whatever reason, self-unaliving rate in Mesa County is so high. I had multiple friends, multiple acquaintances, multiple people that I went to school with in high school unalive themselves. It was a few. right, over the years. Same thing with my sister. She was 3 grade years above me. But anyways, the school had like no systems of support at all for students' mental health. And I actually wrote like a 5-page paper of this when I was in high school about how they could like better serve their students with mental health resources. And I think that is one of the biggest things that I advocate insofar as systems of reform. Dude, what? The official White House account just tweeted out, "Let them cook." Anyways, it's a picture of Trump. Dude. Some dorks, man. Some dorks. All right, we got another like 5 minutes here, y'all. Let's see. Dean, do I like Joji? Actually, yeah, I do. I do like Joji's music. I do like Joji's music. I wish that he made more. I wish that he made more. Do I like the Wallows? Yeah, they were really good back in the day. They were. Apparently, they want me to check Discord. Got the mods wanting me to check Discord. Anyways, y'all, we have about another like 3 minutes here of a Q&A. Oh, we just got a live restriction for talking about self-unaliving. Yeah, that's fair. That's like one of the first things I'd address within the education systems. Then also, Lil Peep. Bro, Lil Peep went so hard. I'm not gonna lie. I listened to so much Lil Peep in high school, man. And like Lil Peep still goes pretty hard. Doing like taking a night drive, windows down, music loud. Yeah. Good old Lil Peep, dude. Super sad story there. Let's see. Kaylee with $1 on Venmo saying, "I wish you and Parker would follow Kirk to Illinois State yesterday." I know, we just didn't get it set up in time. What about Mac? Same thing for Mac. You bet if he likes Lil Peep, he'll like SB. Dude, Suicide Boys I've always gone crazy. I think that was like the first band outside of like Christian rock that I had really enjoyed listening to following Catholic school. I think like Suicide Boys was like the first like non-Christian band I was introduced to following the graduation from Catholic school. And they've always been fire. Always have been. Cats or dogs? It depends. I think that dogs are smarter than cats, so sometimes it could be more fun to have a dog. But I think that cats are cuter than dogs, so it could be more fun to have a cat. Oh, they're also a lot less messy. They're also, I have a lot more allergies to them. So I don't know. There's gives and takes. He takes some, he gives some. Do I fuck with Chapel Roan? We should talk about that because that's a little bit more of a conversation than just music. You guys are going to hate me for this. I don't know why. Let me make this one straight. I don't know why. I just don't. I don't like Chapel Roan. She pisses me off. And she always has too. Like, I've always kind of thought that was like my one take that just like wasn't valid. All right. But I've just seen so many people validating that take on the internet recently. And it's just always kind of been something I've kept to myself. But like, everybody's kind of talking about it. It's just not that good. Well, I mean, listen. I think that there's a couple reasons why I have that take on her. So first and foremost, like, this didn't piss me off that much as politics, which I could get into in a bit. But like the whole like kind of like getting really upset and angry about like fans taking pictures and whatnot, like that whole conversation about how she doesn't like taking pictures all the time. I think that what she was saying was true, but it's the way that she presented the information that could have been better. Like, I do think that if you're in the public spotlight, you definitely like reserve the right to privacy in some senses. You do reserve the right to tell somebody that you're not going to take a picture with them, etc. But I think that you also have a bit of like, at least I could say it's a good thing to at least be kind about it. It's a good thing to support those who support you. Okay? It's a good thing to recognize that no, it is not your talent that has made you famous. There's a shit ton of people with talent that are not famous. It is the people that have recognized your talent that has made you famous. Okay? So you should support those that support you. But I mean, that's not like the biggest deal in the world. Like, a little annoying, but like, who cares? Because the information that she was stating was still correct. She just presented it in an incorrect way. I think like the bigger issue with Chappell Roan that I've seen is a lot to do with like her speaking on politics and kind of like choosing to be or not to be like a status of political influence. And I think it's funny that she chose to be a status of political influence as it related to the Biden-Harris administration, but not as it relates to the Trump administration. Right? And then also, like, I'm not too familiar with her or the type of music that she makes, but like, I do think like a lot of what she speaks about is like inherently political too, right? So for her just to kind of like opt out of talking about politics now, but strongly talking about politics before the election is a little bit slimy. But I don't know. Those are my takes. Those are my takes. Who are we talking about? Chappell Roan. But I will say, Pink Pony Girl, good song. Not gonna lie, that shit's catchy. Oh, Lily with the $2 on Venmo saying thoughts on Baby No Money. I actually do have some thoughts on Baby No Money. Also, what's going on, Sulks? Good to see you. I actually really like the guy. I want to try to... It's Pink Pony Girl, Pink Pony Club, or whatever. I'm sorry, guys. Whatever, that fucking one song, it's good. Anyways, so somebody asked for my thoughts on Baby No Money. I actually like really like the guy. I have not seen somebody in like the more like mainstream media do so much for good political activism as this guy has. He was like posting about like Trans Awareness Day. He has like drag queens performing this shit. I don't know. It's like, I think he's a cool dude. Also, he like fucking hates AI art. And you know, he's a chiller. I'd like to do something with him. I also just think his content's entertaining, not gonna lie. Like if he pops up on my For You page like 6 out of 10 times, I'll actually watch it compared to just scrolling. All right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end. We've gotten the 30 minutes that we need over on the TikTok account at It Might Be Dean. So we're going to be live on at It Might Be Dean tomorrow on TikTok. I'd highly implore the 1.8 thousand people watching YouTube to just head to TikTok and make sure you follow that before you take off. I'm going to go ahead and make some dinner for the evening. I love you all and have a good rest of your all's evenings. Take care. At It Might Be Dean on TikTok. Go drop it a follow.